I'm free from living lies, free from my own deception, headed the right direction. I walk through the fields of mud. I thought I'd find a shelter in you, a perfect sky. Doors open, doors close in my heart again. Wonder how long it'll take till I kill the pain. Your walls between us keep me far away. There's no way back. Your heart is full of bricks. Trying to move on, raise my head to the horizon when I know what's to come. I'm scared to be alone, stuck at the same place that we've been, but I cannot get out. Doors open, doors close in my heart again. Wonder how long it'll take till I kill the pain. Your walls between us keep me far away. There's no way back. There's no way back. There's no way back. Your heart is full of bricks.
This is my world.
Let's make it count.
I must practice tolerance. Next. GSL Season 3. Reversal. 2019. Altitude. GSL Season 3. Codes. Reversal.
Pretty much feels like I don't have a thing to lose. And it pretty much sounds like you think I'm afraid of you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another day here of the GSL Codes. We've had some great games so far in the early half of the season, and I think today is going to be no exception.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting group. No Zerg players today.
No Zergs, no.
But that's okay. We have one of the best Protoss in the world, one of the best Terrans in the world, and then a couple of players that are underdogs.
Similar to the group before, this is one where we have players we're really expecting to move on, and some players we're expecting to be eliminated. If it's not our two top dogs, Classic and Innovation, in this group advancing, it'll be a big shock. Again, I don't think they will not advance, but maybe we'll be surprised. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, last season was completely full of upsets, but so far this season, it's been pretty straightforward. Maybe one top class player falling so far in those first groups, only Sue not making it out, but that was kind of considered the group of death so far in the round of 32. So, you know, it's like sad to see him go, but the players that advance, you can't really hold too much against. You can see those results right here. Of course, that was the Group D where Sue fell out. But other than that, I mean, this is like a pretty solid lineup of players, right? Ragnarok and Kira are both on the up and up and have been for a bit of time, and everyone else is really rock solid, with Hero kind of coming back after a long period of not performing as well. Not to say he's going to necessarily get a top 8 this season, but he's looking a lot better than
I can hope so.
Previous seasons.
Right. And so, you know, particularly with Classic here, we have an interesting situation for this guy because, as I'm sure many of you know, everybody has to go to the military. If you're an able-bodied young man in South Korea, except for us, besides us being not able-bodied, we're also not Koreans. We don't have to do that. But
I'm also way too old.
But everybody has to do their military service. Classics is just around the corner. So this could be his last GSL CODES, at least for about, I guess, a little bit under 2 years.
Yeah, that's like basically certain at this point. And the thing is, he's already like a lock for BlizzCon, but he can't actually travel to it. So it's kind of this weird place that he's in right now. We don't even know that he'll finish the season out, but I guess we'll see. We don't have the exact inscription date for him as of yet. That does not stop him, though, from practicing his tushy off and showing us good results, good games for his fans.
So we're going to start today off with 2 mirror matchups, a PvP and a TVT. Again, we expect Classic and Innovation to go to the winner's match. I think Keen could always throw a wild card out here. Creator is an excellent player, but tends to underperform in high-pressure matches.
Yeah.
That being said, he's been playing for a long time. Sometimes you see these guys who have been grinding, and it seems like they're going nowhere, and then they suddenly hit their stride. Everything clicks.
Yeah. We'll see if he can do that, but the guy he's going up against, I mean, Classics PvP is monstrous. Really, everything he does is monstrous. He's the best Protoss in the world this year. For half of last year, he was the best Protoss in the world. He's like always top 3 to 4, he's been so strong for so long. You've got to keep him as one of the favorites for the season.
Absolutely. Creator, this player has been a fixture in StarCraft 2 since the very, very first seasons of GSL. He is a valued member of the generic Green Wings. He's a solid player, but he does not deliver when compared to the rest of the generic Pantheon.
Was he wearing glasses last season?
I think. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe he went to contacts. Now he's back with glasses.
Sure. But new haircut, new glasses, new Protoss?
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to start this off on King's Cove, then Acropolis, and finally Thunderbird for the last match if we go to map number 3, excuse me. And so this begins our first match here in Group F. Classic vs. Creator starts now.
Makers Classic. Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
Oh, all right. Cool. Definitely you have to look at it as very favored for Classic, but Creator has 2 of the absolute best Protoss in the world on his team, and he's been showing better games since maybe the second half of last year. He's been climbing his way back up the ranks from someone who rarely gets into CODES to someone who can, make an upset here and there. So, not going to hold my breath, but
I will.
I feel like you're going to hold my breath. That's called murder tasteless.
Nice. I was going to make a joke about holding my breath, but I'll just let it go. That's even funnier. Okay, so there's a Creator probe parked adjacent to Creator's main. So this is sort of the opposite of a proxy. This is just hiding. What we're going to assume is just going to be some tech here, probably a Stargate. Meanwhile, similar idea, different location. We have Classic pushed away from his base, and this is what we, I don't know if everybody calls it this, but the way I think of it is hiding in plain sight. It's kind of out in the open. It looks like it's a scoutable area until you really start to map out where scouting patterns go, and occasionally there are just these big blind spots in the middle of the map that can go unattended.
Well, especially that one. You have to walk closer to Classic's main and then go backwards up a hill for no reason to a place that goes nowhere to find something that's barely proxied. So, yeah, it doesn't seem too likely. More likely that Creators will be found, but
now,
we'll see.
Generally speaking, statistically, players tend to hug the corner of the map when they're doing proxies, especially in PvP. to hide the pylon just on the edge. So that's usually where people scout first. So
you're right. Players tend to do that. Classic, not as much though. He will put stuff in the middle relatively often, actually.
But this is why I think Creator's proxy is going to be spotted pretty quickly here.
Might be.
As I think the probe
is close, but not.
Oh yeah, he's sort of gone around.
He's checking the place that he proxied, which is hilarious.
It's projection, man, a powerful thing. Looks like that probe's going to be picked off. Scouts no nexus.
Not a terrible scout, to be honest.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, worthwhile. Phoenixes are being made for Creator, so if he can stop this Oracle dead in its tracks, he gets actually a pretty decent advantage here. This was an advantage at one point that we would call almost game-ending. Oh my God, get over there!
Okay, Classic's Oracle's on the run. It's now going to get sandwiched between both the Stalkers and the Phoenixes. Recall's coming down here. Damage going down really fast, and it is picked off.
Huge. That is a huge advantage.
Oracle did literally nothing.
And look at the Insta-Nexus, okay? Yeah. It's like a chemical reaction almost. Like you can't even measure the time between killing that Oracle with Phoenixes and the Nexus coming up. We don't know what caused what.
Well, what's crazy about this is that, I mean, a Nexus play is almost never a bad idea against Phoenixes, right? They can't pick up the Nexus. But at the same time, the Phoenixes are still going to be able to come in here and try to harass these workers. So it's going to be cool to see how Creator tries to navigate this game. He got a big win early on by taking out the Oracle. The question now is, how does he capitalize on this? Because I think Classic's response is a logical one from here.
Well, both of them really, when it's Stargate expansions, are very, very smart. But look, if you look at strategically where we're at, the Oracle did 0. Both went Nexus right away. Both are going into Forge right away. And obviously Blink for Classic, right? But Creator's sitting here making the Robo, so we're going to see Immortals from him. If you just like line these both up on paper, the player in Creator's spot normally has a pretty sizable advantage from here.
Sure. There's obviously no way for Classic to try to catch up in any air arms race with enough Phoenixes already out, so that tech option is completely out the window. The question I'm asking is, how is Creator's execution going to be? Because we've had games where, on paper, Creator is certainly in the lead, but when it comes to finishing the job, it's been a little bit harder for him. And I'm not trying to knock on him too much here, but this is Classic versus Creator here. And Classic is in very
What are you trying to say, Tasteless?
I'm saying
just say it, Tasteless. We're ready to hear it.
Classic is basically overall regarded as a better player and has had much more success.
This is controversial. This is controversial. You better watch out. I'm talking to a freak of TV management and Blizzard after this.
You're going to HR immediately after this.
Yeah. Can you believe
this
he said
is unhealthy for the
Classic
workplace
is
environment?
Generally regarded as a better player than Creator?
You know, I had to be pretty brave to put it out there.
No,
but,
you were.
You know,
I wish I could have that type of bravery.
By the way, Blink is almost done here. We have the Robo started for Classic. On Creator's side, the Twilight Council's just started, but obviously he's already got some Immortals being cranked out here, incrementing out one by one from the Robo.
Yeah, it's a very good spot. He just needs to make sure that things like these two Adepts don't wreck him. So let's watch these two Adepts wreck him. Oh my God.
This is what I was talking about.
Oh my God.
On paper, Creator can be ahead, but I've always wondered this, if Creator has like focus issues or more of anxiety issues or what
it's hard to say, because he was actually one of the best Protoss in the world in 2012. He had a great year then. But, like, for instance, that is one of the only things that can happen right now. Like, two Adepts just coming in and killing.
Right.
What else can happen? Right? Like, it's not like he's going to send an Oracle across the map.
Well, certainly Phoenixes can't fly in and kill all his workers, so that factor is gone. The Robo was late, so he couldn't have done a warp in. So, yeah, literally that was the only thing that could have happened. And the funny thing about two Adepts coming into your base is that for the amount of damage it doesn't really cost the other player that much.
Two Adepts are like free. It's like two Zerglings.
Not to mention, it's also there's low risk involved. They're shading in, so you can always cancel it. So it's unfortunate Creator was not more on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Both sides going for the third Nexus +2 in charge. A lot of gateways being added on both sides. As far as the workers go, we're about even right now. Creator hasn't really been able to do too much harassment with his units, but he basically knows what's going on. And overall, he's building a stronger unit composition right now than Classic. These Stalkers don't scale overly well. But it's not like a huge amount. You know, it's not like 13 stalkers. It's only
Right.
8, right?
Right.
So it's, but that's not as good as if it was only 4 tasteless. I just want to point that out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elmo,
Yeah.
for teaching us numbers.
Like, you see that? How he's only got like 3 stalkers, Creator does? Oh, that's a great number. Mwah! Oh, beautiful.
By the way, Zealot Charge is about to finish on both sides. We're ramping up to a big macro game PvP here. It doesn't seem like either player really wants to attack the other one. There's always the question of, can Creator find a good engagement, because he does have the 3 Phoenixes, so he can get some pickups there and maybe disable something. But we don't see anything like that just yet.
It looks like Creator might attack, which I don't think is what you want to do quite yet. I feel like, you can push this a little bit higher up so that it's even more in your favor as Creator, and he actually walks back. So I guess all is well in the world. But at these smaller numbers, the gateway-based army can still really fight against this, and I think you're actually almost looking for a fight. So Creator being on the map didn't make a lot of sense.
Okay, another set of big warp-ins here from Classic. Now, I don't know that he'll be able to break up into that position on the ramp, but this is a great move here by Creator. Two Adepts now shading in here. They already did some damage to the third base. Now they're going to come in here, unfortunately not targeting down the probes, but instead hitting the Zealots. So good defense there by Classic. Now Classic going to try to come in here.
Yeah, hard to imagine this working out. As a hallucinated Immortal in there as well. The 2 shield batteries doing real work here for Creator.
The Archon's got some really good pairings there on those Zealots. I don't know about this angling here. Yeah, I feel like no matter what, this should not be a breakable position here for Classic.
Absolutely not. He's got 3 Immortals and Warp Prism and 2 batteries and, like, gateways, a pylon there. Like,
well, I mean, it's just everything about that didn't make any sense.
Well,
I think Classic way overestimating the position he's in. Now he's quite behind. It's 29 army supply to 61, and a third base for Classic that's barely even mining.
Yeah, I guess it actually did get a bit worse from that. But in a way, what he did there, I appreciated slightly, because I think that in situations like this, where you're going to have a hard time the longer the game goes, if you can trade army semi-evenly, if you can just reduce the size of both your armies, that's something you want to do, right? Like, for instance, if you can trade 3 of your Stalkers for 3 of his Stalkers, you want to do that. You know what I mean? And if you can trade 4 Zealots for 4 Zealots, you actually also want to do that. You want to keep these armies a little bit smaller, but definitely that advantage for Creators is getting significant.
So Creator's now going to push across the map, and I think this should just be a 1-2 punch to victory, right? I mean, there's just more of everything here for Creator. 144 supply to 93. I think he can just barrel into the third here and just squish it, right?
Going up a ramp is always a little bit tricky, but that's a lot of Immortals. It's 5 Immortals against 1, and that's a pretty good metric for who's going to win this battle.
Yeah, even on a map that really favors holding the third base here, this is just going to be too much. So the overwhelming numbers come in. Creator wins, starting at least the beginnings of an upset, Artosis. Creator taking a game off of Classic.
Yeah.
Certainly not the result I think Classic was expecting as we started the day off here.
Is Old Man Army washed up? That's the question on everyone's minds right now. Classic in possibly his last season of Codes for the next couple of years.
How old is Creator? I actually have no idea. Is he
Creator? He's pretty young still.
Is he? Okay, because Classic's our oldest player here, so you can defer your military service. By the way, apparently they've I don't know if you read about this in the newspaper. They're trying to raise the minimum wage, and because of that, the job market's been harder to get out here in Korea. So there's more men going into the military now than before. So some of these guys, especially the pros, have been able to defer more easily. But Classic, it appears, is going to be going in there. I was just curious because I was thinking, wait a minute, Creator's been in this tournament forever as well. When is he going to have to go? Anyways, Game 2 is ready on Acropolis. Classic versus Creator. Let's go.
Makers Classic. Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
Classic wasn't looking super relaxed there.
No, he did look a little bit alarmed. It's always a little bit weird. I have to imagine. I mean, I can't speak from experience, but the idea of having to take this pro gamer hiatus, a forced hiatus, to join the military, you know, and I want to actually kind of go over this a little bit more thoroughly because this can be a kind of a foreign concept for a lot of people listening. You're not allowed to even make money during this period of time that's not related to the military.
Yeah.
So it's not like you could just still stream on Twitch or something. So
yeah, and you can't play tournaments. It's
right.
You know, that's why a lot of times like people don't even know that some of these players are back, where they would be streaming or they would be playing tournaments.
Yeah.
You see this a lot too, right? Like right now, Bisu is playing ladder games, but he's not streaming them because he can't.
Exactly.
You know? A lot of these players keep their skill up. They do get days off. They could theoretically play in a tournament, but there's prize money, so they can't do it.
Right, exactly. So Bisu's a perfect example of, you know, it was not that long ago we were saying in the ASL, man, it's going to be crazy when Bisu's gone. You know, will he ever be able to come back? And it looks like he's going to be back in full form, but, you know, for Classic, it's got to be weird. You know this is your last tournament, and obviously he wants to perform his best, but he probably was not expecting to start this GSL off by losing one game to Creator, right?
Probably not.
I feel like that's going to create a pretty big mental stumbling block here, at least if I were him. But let's see how he pulls it together. I think there was basically two big features in Game 1. So there was the fact that the Oracle was completely annihilated before it could do anything at all. It wasn't even able to take shields off of anything in Game 1. And that gave a pretty big tempo swing to Creator. And then there was a second part where Classic, and this was a little bit weirder. I can understand the Oracle just getting shot down, but when there was the push up the ramp at the third base, where there was just simply put, I mean, if you just look at the two armies, this doesn't seem like it's going to work out, right? So let's see how Game 2 goes here. I think if we see better mid-game and late-game decision-making from Classic, we should have a better Classic game.
Well, yeah, it was like a tough opening, and when your opponent has those Stargate units, like you have to have some anti-air, so you're kind of forced into Stalkers, but that's so unbelievably obvious because there's no other choice that your opponent just blindly makes Immortals. You know, you kind of get yourself locked into this very rough position if your Oracle did nothing. And that's, you know, a risk you take. A lot of the different builds in PvP do have a bit of a risk, but, you know, if they get off, then suddenly you're at a big advantage and feeling like you're going to win. So
here comes that attack over here in the front. It's 2 Adepts and 2 Stalkers. The shade forward here is actually allowing Creator to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah.
He's actually microed these units really, really well here.
Really well.
Oh my god. Okay, so the pylon now goes down. The push is going to continue even further here. I don't believe there's any more energy on that sentry. So that was a bad start.
That was nice.
Creator really giving Classic quite a beating there.
Yeah, like for instance, he has a pretty significantly later Nexus, but he's going to be mining from it at like the same time as his opponent here because of that nice pressure. Maybe he stayed a little bit long there, but
yeah, I think he was going a little bit too hard on that one pylon.
Yeah.
But the idea was definitely there. Now the War Prism's going to come out here first for Creator. Let's see if he tries to do this again. He already got the initial unit count down lower. You know, 2 bases with Adepts and Shades. Stalkers maybe try to poke into the front, or War Prism's dropping. There's definitely some tactical options here for Creator.
Yeah, he's, especially with this Immortal coming out, like, he is able to get across the map and do some harassment, no doubt. Like, there's even always a possibility of doing an Immortal Sentry push. We don't really see the Sentries, so I think it's very likely going to be a bit of a Prism harass. Classic, oh, look at that. He's gone across with just Adepts.
There's a recall happening back here in Classic space, getting him on the defense.
He's got his Forge on the way, so you can see Classic's trying to go for kind of a bit of a longer game here. We'll see what the Adepts can end up doing for Creator, because obviously these little Adept moves that we're seeing have potential to do some real damage.
Okay, come in. He's going to try to snipe that sentry. Oh!
Yeah, nice force field.
I think he can actually just push him in here, though, and still get the kill. Nicely done.
Okay.
Really highlighting how abusive you can be with a War Prism there. Now here comes the 4 Adepts from Classic. The battery wall, is set up over here.
Yeah, this type of move is so nice because it's so hard to actually get the Prism. Like he can still get most of these out, but it seems like he's just going to suicide him, which is fine because now he's killed sentries and probes and just he's done a lot of damage with them.
7
Very
kills
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Little skirmish here in the middle of the map with the 2 War Prisms.
Both sides getting their +1. Classic a little bit ahead in that regard. Definitely liking Classic's position here.
Okay. War Prisms again gliding by each other. Another unload here. And I don't know if there's going to be too much more damage done from these Adepts. Oh, this is pretty big. Creator actually losing that.
Or
Classic rather, excuse me, losing that. Classic having a bad day so far here. He's playing better this time around, but there's definitely been some bumps in the road for him, some hiccups here.
It was a funny place to lose your Prism, but yeah, that hurts. It kind of timed up well with the Shades going into his natural, so you know, gets caught off guard, and suddenly you look at this position and it flops on its head. Creator with the advantage.
This is going to be pretty crazy if Creator actually starts to cause the upset. Well, he's already got 1 game here, right? But I mean, if he keeps this going, we've got Classic and the losers.
And Keen is a dangerous player.
Yeah.
He can knock out Innovation. He can knock out Classic. He's always one of those guys that can cause the upsets. You don't expect him to get too far, but he's actually a very underrated player.
Yeah, he's absolutely somebody who can take a game off, and especially in a best of 3. It's a totally manageable front. Nice assassinate there on the pylon. The 9 power over there for Classic. Another blow here, and little victories here by Creator.
This is like one of the most powerful things you can really do. If they don't have Blink and they don't have a Stargate, Immortal drops are like the nuts. You can do so much. It's so hard to stop these. So Creator doing a great job. Classic would be doing the same thing if he hadn't lost that Prism.
All right, 3rd base now for Creator. I like the direction he's taking this game. 3rd base here for Classic as well.
All right.
All right, I'm down.
Yeah, see, he's trying to dive on top of it, but what do you get? A dead Stalker? That's what you get for your troubles? You cast some spells and get a dead Stalker?
The funny thing about trying to fight a War Prism is that, you know, the Stalker is obviously the organic response with a ground army to fighting down a War Prism, right? But of course, if there's Immortals in there, that directly counters the Stalkers.
Yeah.
Which causes a real problem here. Oh, if he can actually come in here and maybe even get both these pylons again. Oh, good save there by Classic.
Yeah. That's actually a decent way to deal with it as well. Leave some charge lots out. It takes Immortals a long time and quite a bit of micro to kill off charge lots. So a pretty decent defense here by Creator. And of course, this drop, it's late, right? He wanted to do this a lot earlier.
Classic showing us that, yes, you can, in fact, drop there. And you can see now he's going to try to back up a little bit. Both these guys have pins on each other.
Just going to chill here and look at that Reaper path. It's not only a Reaper path. It's also
it's more than that. Immortals can fit here as well. Oh! He's got to be careful from here on out. Another warp in over here at the upper right. Classic getting ready with some Zealots. It looks like he wants to set up. He's got to be careful, almost pushing that War Prism into the hidden location there.
Nice little snipe right there. Classic starting to get a little bit of his own damage done. +3 on the way for Classic as well.
Okay, here come those Zealots now. Now there's actually more than enough defense here to hold this off, no problem. And that also kind of reveals that there is a hidden pylon in the upper right. I think maybe Classic went in there a little bit too quickly.
Prism starting to take a bit of damage there as well. It's a pretty close game at the moment. Both players mining up their 3rd bases here.
We have that War Prism for Classic still waiting. You know, when you both have War Prisms like this, sometimes it is a waiting game of who's going to try to move out first, because the moment one player moves out, that's when the War Prism can freely glide into the main. Unload, start killing pylons. You have the option of warping in a lot of Zealots as well. So we actually have gone from a little bit of a back and forth game to a fairly conservative one now, as they're both basically trying to tech up and max out and upgrade as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I still like how Creator's playing this a little bit better. Like, Classic is getting +3 right away, which is very smart, and obviously that can give you a good advantage, but the fact that Creator has realized that we're getting into a really big game with a couple ground-pounding armies, to get into Disruptors is unbelievably powerful. If you both have these Immortal, Zealot, Archon armies, but one side has Disruptors, that side wins. So that it's a huge choice. It's really, really strong. We don't see that from Classic.
By the way, Classic doing a good job, though, fanning out these hallucinated phoenixes, continuing to check for the Warp Prisms like we just saw right there.
Yeah. I almost feel like at this point, like, you got to be really careful. Like, if your opponent decided to get Blink or something, catches your Prism, that's a huge loss. Whereas the amount of damage you can get done at this point is getting a little bit lower.
+3 here, finishing up for Classic. I don't know that he's going to move out, though. I think we still have a little bit more time before this game actually gets to the climax where the big fights are going to be. We also have the Dark Shrine starting for Creator. Classics is very close to finishing now.
Yeah, the Dark Shrine is something that can just kind of catch you off guard in these situations where you just don't have that many observers, because robo production is so crucial.
Okay, the DT's warping right over here, but the Archons managed to take out the Warp Prism. Beautifully done.
Wow. That's actually pretty huge that he killed the Prism.
Yeah.
Especially because the DTs were just warped in. That was like a little timing for Classic where you might be able to catch him off guard. Now it's impossible. You can throw down a cannon in every mineral line. You can get a couple more observers, maybe get observer speed.
I'm getting really excited in this game because I would love to see Creator win this. This would be such a cool beginning of a story.
It's quite an upset if he does. So even getting Blink now, which I think is fantastic. His +3 is going to be finishing up. That quicker +3 for Classic doesn't seem to have paid off. He's got more Disruptors. Like, Creator is in a better spot. Will he win? I do not know.
Let's see where he decides to attack in now. We had a small group of Zealots. They're down here at the bottom. They're going to try to loop in, I think, to the natural or to the third, just depending. Now, keep in mind, Creator's maxed out, so we can't warp in more. I love this Disruptor play here.
Yeah, that was nice. Get 3 of them right off the bat. Looks like he'll lose the Disruptor, but this slows down a powerful harassment that was going to occur.
He's bought much more time, though.
Yeah.
He can come over here freely to this 4th base, and frankly, I don't know if he needs to even push up here. As long as he can handle these Disruptor shots, he should be in good shape. Great connects over there.
Don't go up that ramp.
No.
That's not the right thing to do. Throwing Disruptor shots at each other, that's the right thing to do.
So he can take, well, he takes the Nexus out now.
He's killed the 4th.
And it's 4 base versus 3 base. In a mirror matchup, that's always going to favor the player with more bases. So
yeah, he's got more army supply. They have the same upgrades. He's about to get Blink, where if you actually end up like trading these armies, which can happen sometimes, and then like just chrono boosting out Disruptors and using Blink Stalkers is oftentimes like the most efficient thing that you can do.
this in a lot of ways creates a no man's land. Well, it looks like actually Creator's going to back up. I was going to say there'd be the option for Creator to try to keep chucking these Disruptor balls forward and maybe zoning Classic from getting a 4th base. Classic's reclaiming this 4th just up here, but I think there's an opportunity if Creator decides to take it to try to come up here and deny that, force a cancel.
Ooh,
great job.
Great hit right there.
It's so important to get that first Disruptor shot off.
Yeah.
It really... There's a lot of mind games that are going on here and how you juke and jive, but the most important thing is to get the shot off first, because especially in Disruptor versus Disruptor, when you're both close to each other,
yeah,
that's the deciding factor.
If both players are playing really super well, what you tend to see is a bunch of Disruptor shots that don't hit anything, because it's a zoning tool, and shooting them first is more important than hitting.
Yes, you're trying to do it's like a zoning mechanic, like you're saying, keeping them back. And by the way, there's harass that's been coming in here from Classic. The only thing that I think Classic could try to utilize at this point in time is low supply. If he could get a Warp Prism over there into the main or something, he could warp in a huge amount of units and do damage, since Creator's already maxed out. But we don't see that right now. And now we're actually seeing Creator close in here. And this may be when the 3rd base is just going to be toppled here. Whoa!
The flank was a great idea, but he actually brought it up way too far before shooting it.
There's one DT here. There's no observer in this army? Is this correct?
My gosh, yeah,
I guess
so.
not.
A ridiculously good Disruptor hit there from Classic. I would love to see Creator throw a Prism in, because he's forcing the whole army to be down here.
Yeah, well, now the 3rd base is going to go down.
How much damage has this DT done? This DT is its own little Disruptor at this point.
This is pretty bad. I think we're about to see this game end here. I mean, Army supplies are similar, but I mean the bases are very low.
Classic hit all the disruptor shots though. Like all the disruptors are dead over on Creator's side. The best he might be able to do is actually attacking this now. Like there was definitely better, more patient micro here from Classic.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think even though there's been a lot of damage done over in the main here for Creator, I think Creator just continues to push through. Am I wrong about this?
Well, the disruptors, their cost efficiency is absurdly high, and like Creator's still taking damage at home. So I actually think that Classic might be able to take this one.
That would be pretty crazy. The thing is, there's so many bases in the upper right, though.
Yeah.
He still has infrastructure, right? I mean, at this point in time, Creator is inhabiting the natural of Classic. He's going to recall back here. The main is mined out, so once this Nexus is destroyed, all Creator has to do is really utilize the tools that he has as far as units go. Try to keep making probes and stabilize.
So he recalled his Observer, which means warping in DTs defensively for Classic will clear out the rest of the army. See, he's got his own DTs waiting to kill these DTs.
Yep.
What a crazy game. The DT base trade is real.
So everything that Classic has in supply is DTs.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Pretty much. Yeah. GG.
Okay,
Creator takes the game.
Kind of a crazy game there. Classic almost coming back, but that right there is a 2-0 for Creator over Classic. Definitely didn't finish super well, and Classic was starting to come back, but Creator was like a step ahead for many parts of that game.
I love, we've been casting these players for so long. To see someone like Creator win 2-0 against Classic, this is really a story about hard work and perseverance. Now the question is, can Creator take this initial upset, this victory, and bring that to the round of 16? We're going to get there eventually and find out. Up next, Keen versus Innovation at TVT. Do not go away. We'll be right back here at the GSL.
큰 역사의 한 패를 장식한 어떤 카드를 던질까에 대해서 머릿속으로 진짜 고민이 많아질 수밖에 없는 상황이 차면 죽어서 골든 트로피의 주인공이 됩니다. 연승 달리고 있는 맨체스터는 지지 않는 포스를 뽐내고 있는데 진짜 이걸 잡아요.
에브리바디 째째!
이미 서론 들릴 수는 있겠어.
바라봐야 될 태양! 걔 어떻게든 살아나라! 포기하지 말자!
Round 2, GSL Season 3, Code S, Reversal.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here at the GSL Code S, and we're going to go to Keen versus Innovation. We already had a pretty cool PvP. I'm really surprised and delighted to see that Creator played so well against, of all people, Classic.
Yeah. I mean, Creator put out some very solid games. Fundamentally, they looked very good, and strategically, it was awesome. So, congrats to him. He deserves to move on, I guess.
Yeah.
Classic started to pull it together and almost made a miraculous comeback in that last game. But, anyways, he's in the loser match, and that's danger zone right there.
It is. Also, Classic overall just not playing as well as I think we're used to. I don't know if the fact that he has to go into the military soon and might not even be able to finish his season is a factor here. I don't want to psychoanalyze too much, but just something to note, a little asterisk there. Now we have Innovation versus Keen. Now, I said earlier in our PvP, there's one clear player who's supposed to advance. I'll say that again in this matchup as well. Innovation is the favorite here. But we've already had upsets today. Again, I think I'm right. I think Innovation's supposed to win here, but let's see.
Keen is not bad TBT.
But he's a good player overall. I mean, there's a reason why he's been in, what is it, 19 or 18?
He's been in a
GSL
lot of
Code
GSLs, a lot. But, yeah, Innovation is in good shape right now. I know that for the last couple of years, there's been spottiness for him where there wasn't as much before. But he's definitely showing pretty good form, so expecting that victory.
Game 1 will be on Thunderbird, and that is just loaded up. This is Keen versus Innovation.
Africa S2, Keen. Reciprocity, Innovation.
Big showing here for Innovation today.
Yeah, he is a popular player, no doubt. Has been for a very long time. Innovation showing much faster gas here, and immediately into a second gas, so going to be a little bit tech heavy here in the opening. Yeah, now we wait and see.
Good audience showing here today. Always a different crowd here on Saturday afternoons here.
You saying weekend mornings brings in different people than weeknight?
I am. I'm going out on a limb here and saying it. Although some of the people have actually been here for both of those. I'm recognizing some people.
Yeah,
I'm good at recognizing the backs of heads.
Yeah.
Because of where we cast this from. So
Oh, no, don't turn around. We can't recognize you.
Yeah. That's your face. I have no idea who you are. So, yeah, and, in case you guys are wondering why we have this Saturday afternoon cast, it's so that we can get a good time for the North American scene. It's their evening time there. Trying to get all the little regions covered so you can get some live StarCraft 2, and then you can watch the VOD the other times.
That's right. If you're really hardcore, you just have a rotating sleep schedule. So a very quick command center here from Keen, going into his factory right afterwards. There's innovation, continue on that tech. That's an interesting place for a Reaper, isn't it?
It is. Let's see what's actually going to be happening here. Innovation, by the way, has thrown down his command center here, albeit later than Keen's. Now, we've had some pretty cool little poke-ins with super early game pushes here. Do you think there's a possibility of that? If you get a Raven, tank, there's several mixtures of units.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to try to do this. Sometimes it's with a medevac coming in and dropping, hitting somewhere, and then you're trying to hit the front. Are there any opportunities that you see there for innovation?
Well, since he is making the Hellions and Reapers, there is, he could have poked, but that time has kind of passed. You can see him setting up more defensively here, just in case of, Cyclone or whatever coming across the map. But I mean, even if you try to poke, the map is really long. You're going up a ramp. We see that Keen has already made a bunker as well, so it's highly defensive. Can't really imagine anyone doing each other damage at this point in the game yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get some flying units out there.
Here comes that first Raven coming out here. I was talking more about a later on little push or little attack in there, not trying to run in so much and kill stuff. But we'll have to see if that does come into play here, because Ravens are becoming more and more interesting as StarCraft 2 continues on, the little stuff we've seen already. I mean, we could talk about yesterday where we saw, actually, sorry, not yesterday, 2 days ago when we saw the Ravens come in and chuck down auto turrets to then kill off Stim, which for us was just a complete mind-blowing experience of course that's another thing you can do here.
Yeah.
I've got my fingers crossed for maybe something like that coming up here as well.
It would be cool to see some very creative attacks going on. Not sure exactly what we'll end up seeing. Keen is going for a very fast third command center here as well, whereas Innovation continues to build up his tech. So if someone is to do one of those more technical, interesting attacks, it certainly will be Innovation. So Keen is going to have to wait a bit to really get his macro rolling and get anything together that could do an attack.
Yeah. Here comes Keen's Hellion now going into the main. And you can see Innovation was ready for a drop, but this Hellion does come in here more scouting than anything else. Sees the Raven, taken out by the Cyclones.
He was totally ready for anything coming in from the side. Ooh, another factor here for Keen, so he's decided to go mech. Not a big surprise. This guy was mixing in mech for quite some time, even against Protoss, before the mech actually caught on.
Yeah, mech's always kind of been in and out of StarCraft 2. There's periods where it's very trendy in certain matchups and it's very strong, and then it'll either get figured out or phased out of the meta.
That was quite a nice scan by Innovation, by the way. He saw exactly the moment that Keen had verified that he was going for mech play, so definitely useful. We'll see where Innovation goes with that information.
We had games in this season already where players were playing pretty well but didn't fully identify that there was an unusual unit composition that was being teched out. So it's good to see him get that in there right away. And a very passive game to start things off. Both players much more interested in showing what they've got in late game here. We've got the 3 factories coming down now. Meanwhile, Innovation staying on bio here as we see Stim coming up as well. And Innovation, versus a mech player, usually the bio player with tanks is able to do a little bit more on the map. Coming out and trying to get a little bit of control. Mech always takes, and there's some exceptions since the the Cyclone being incorporated into StarCraft 2. There's been a little bit of a change to this. We saw Gumiho especially express this in some of his games, but generally the bio player is usually able to do something, and that's what we're going to see right here. Now there's scans coming down here. The tanks are actually behind the bunkers, so Innovation should get some pot shots off on this bunker of Keen's right now.
Yeah, I don't think he can do too much more than this because of the layout of the map. If you try to push it too much, it's like, what are you doing?
Well, it'd be so ambitious to try to push up a ramp with Stim against a mech player. But he does kill the bunker, doing a little bit here and there.
You know, this position from Innovation, like maybe the Ravens can help him break. That's going to be what he tries. And look at the
Disabling on the Ravens.
Yeah, kind of a big deal there. Tons of disables going off on both sides, but Innovation won't break this. No way, no how.
No.
In fact, he wasted all his Ravens there. So this was a bit foolish. You're doing Raven against Raven. You're kind of trying to just bust. And you know, back when Interference Matrix first came out, we saw a lot of situations where you could bust the mech player with those disables. But you see, Keen's well practiced with this strategy. He knows to disable the Raven and let his Vikings clean up. So that was, it was like Innovation was almost going for a cheap win. He's like, oh, I hope you don't know how to defend this. So kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. Will he try to do something fancy with a little push to start things off? And he did try that, but yeah, it did not work at all. And frankly, losing those Ravens like that was the big tech unit you were leading up to. And so to lose those assets like that is pretty bad.
Well, Innovation is adding a bunch of barracks and continuing forward with this bio play, but you're kind of limited. Like, you can look at this as the mech player, and I expect to see a lot of scans out of Keen checking tech, because if you stay on this like Bioforce, what you need to do as the mech player is just kind of watch for base trade type situations, right? If you're going heavy bio, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe he'll fly in with medevacs, maybe he'll wait for me to move and try to get me out of position or while I'm unsieged. But what you're really kind of going to want to look for is switches into Sky Terran.
Right.
That's where it can get really scary. The bio player can generally expand a little bit more, get a really big economy going, and almost seamlessly go into massive, Vikings and like Liberators to push down the mech.
Yeah, you sort of move past that mech part of the game.
And you can see Innovation starting air attack. So that kind of points towards that's what he wants to do.
And as time passes, Keen's going to continue to muster a pretty scary mech army. A lot of this comes down to, in mech versus bio, comes down to raw power versus mobility. It's very hard to engage the mech army, but the mech army is slow and cumbersome to move, specifically because of the way the siege tank operates. It needs to get into siege mode, shell stuff down, and then when it needs to move, it's got to unsiege, which takes an animation, then get to the right location, then get set up. Whereas Stim, Bio, Marines, and there are tanks in that army too, but usually what you do is you set up some type of position, and then you look for an opening elsewhere or try to flank them. But Stim Bio is just much more agile. But again, if it ends up fighting directly into the siege tanks, and the siege tanks are in siege mode, the Bio is obliterated.
Yeah, it really is. So it's something he needs to look out for.
And that's why we're going to see this Sky Switch coming up here.
Yeah, he's adding the starports right now, so he's definitely getting ready for it. The most important part of this is making sure you have more Vikings than your opponent. It can become a little bit of a Vikings arm race, because as soon as you have more Vikings, you own the skies, and you can go like Liberators with range and basically push into everything as long as you have enough siege tanks to, make sure that your opponent can't just rush in with ground units.
One other concept that's worth offering as well is that when you own the skies, your tanks are stronger because you can actually just fire as long as you have spotters there, air spotters.
Yeah.
Which makes things a lot easier. Granted, you have a lot of scans. It's just a lot more mechanical output than if you can simply get your air army over a location and then have your siege tanks able to pick off whatever's in that area.
Yeah, and again, if you don't have that, those air units, like, yeah, you'll use scans for a little bit, but eventually Liberators can really turn the tides. We even sometimes see BCs in that late game, like with TY versus Maru the other day.
Right.
So both sides getting into some Liberators and their fusion cores, so we'll be seeing that range upgrade coming. More starports for Innovation, although Keen is adding them on.
And this is a great build-up to an epic TVT in the late game here.
Yeah.
Seems like Keen's going to try to occupy the top center here. TVT is a matchup that oftentimes operates based off where the no man's land is set up, and we're beginning to see that carved out here as the map is getting cut diagonally here.
1 Raven and 14 Vikings for Innovation, and then 12 Vikings for Keen. So Innovation does own the skies right now. He also has those Marines, which can add their firepower to it. So You know, if they end up having a battle like that, it definitely does go to Innovation, who has already switched into Liberators, so I feel like he's playing this just right.
We're teching up further and further here. 3-3 is almost done now for Innovation. And eventually push is going to have to come to shove. They're both maxed out. Now when you see the mech player setting Hellions out, that's going to happen pretty organically because you're always going to be mining more minerals at this phase of the game than gas, and you have all these factories, so you end up throwing out a lot of Hellions and trying to shoot them out onto the map, a lot of times suiciding them because you need to kill off workers. And there's nothing else you can do with those minerals, generally speaking.
Yeah, and killing
turrets,
workers
I guess,
is more powerful against a bio player than against a mech player generally, because they're less cost efficient. But anyways, a set of bio coming over here. This is actually Innovation, just trying to, you know, get something done with this bio force. He doesn't really need it that much. So if he can trade it reasonably, it's really worthwhile.
And 2 battlecruisers about halfway done. More command centers coming down, so we're going to have a lot more mules and the options for planetaries here.
Is Innovation about to have like 10 Liberators? I believe so.
I think he might be. He's got 5 or 6 making, excuse me, right now.
Yeah, Keen keeps scanning things like bases instead of looking for that air army, because he keeps adding battle cruisers. And like with Yamato, they do all right, but Vikings can kind of beat battle cruisers, so you have to be very careful about that. Really, it's the air armies are all about who has the Viking advantage and who can win that. And obviously Ravens can help out as well, so we've seen Corvid Reactor come up for Innovation. I just feel like Innovation's setting up for this better.
I think you're right. One thing as well is as much as we've seen battlecruisers dominate and super flashy play, especially from TY 2 days ago, the Vikings get the air shot off first. It's similar to the concept of the siege tank in siege mode, right? If anything is going to fight a group of siege tanks, you first have to factor in that the siege tanks will deal their damage before the opposing ground unit will deal theirs. And it's the same truth for Vikings. Vikings spray out missiles at an incredible range.
They have good damage, and they're actually pretty decent at kiting, so you can't really chase them down.
Right, and this is a very different concept than, for instance, what we've seen in TVZ with Corruptors, where Corruptors are supposed to be sort of the anti-air unit for Zerg, the air-to-air fighter. But, you know, with BCs, you can Yamato them, you can try to teleport away in a form of harassment. Here, because this is such a push-based matchup and map control matchup, it's harder to utilize battlecruisers in the same way. I'm not saying that the battlecruisers are a bad choice. It's just when faced with a large number of Vikings, it can be very problematic for the battlecruiser player.
So Innovation right now setting up some interesting high ground positions here, but Keen is pushing forward like non-stop, right? He's trying to take all these spots in the middle. He's even opened up some of the mineral paths to walk through, sending his BCs out. I like this a lot, right? Like in the main battle, these won't be as useful, but with a move like this, first off, you know all the Vikings are going to have to reposition over here, but you can just warp out. Unless they get disabled, which you really have to watch for.
Yeah, let's see where that Raven's at.
He should be scanning incoming units. Yeah, see that? See those 2 scans?
Oh, he's
okay, well, one's Innovations, but...
Okay. Are the disables going to come out?
Get out of
here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh!
Very good, very good.
Excellently done.
Yeah, you want, if you're going to use your BCs like that, you have to have scans ready to watch the Ravens coming in, because if they get off the interference matrix, the BCs are dead.
Right.
And that's as efficient as you can possibly get.
Now, even though the BCs got away, I mean, good for Keen there. Is this, you know, trying to harass with BCs, I'm guessing from the bottom left or the bottom right, those are the only 2 locations I could really see this being viable. Is this ever going to pay for itself or be that much of a threat here to Innovation? I feel like it's more of a nuisance than anything else.
Okay, so the BCs, if you use them correctly, are the best long-term unit in probably the entire game. Like, you can always get away if you use them right, and they can always kill things if you use them right. So, over time, absolutely. Right now, if you look at these 2 armies, you just got to be very careful. Looks like Keen has retaken that air lead, though. You know, Innovation at this point, because he didn't hit any kind of a attack when he had the air dominance, he now has 12 Liberators that are actually not that useful. Right? Once you get up into BC territory, BC occupies a very similar place to the Liberator. So we're looking at like 12 Liberators against like 5 BCs. Well, the 5 BCs are actually better than the 12 Liberators by a good margin. And now that they're both really realizing that it's air versus air, it turns more into Vikings and Ravens, because Ravens can disable everything and do anti-armor missiles, and then Vikings can beat everything.
Well, does Innovation then need to try to send these Liberators out somewhere and try to do some damage elsewhere? Because the problem when you get maxed out is obviously you can't make other units. So is there a clever way to try to utilize these and also get rid of them to free up that supply? Or is he just going to do it instead? I see SCVs coming out. He might just try to suicide workers instead.
Absolutely suicide the workers. And you're right, there's a couple different things you can do with the Liberators. One is send them out for harassment purposes. The other, let's not forget that they technically do have splash damage. So if you have anti-armor missile on your opponent's Vikings and you can actually get in there with your Liberators, they, you give the -2 armor and suddenly they do a pretty good job, right?
Okay, Yamato's blasting down these turrets over here. And this is the same location those battlecruisers were in before. Now, we don't have anything over here to help defend, but now the battlecruisers of Innovations are coming in here with their own Yamatos, but it looks like they're able to teleport away. Nicely done.
All right, so we see a few Raven spells going off right now. Not sure exactly what was going on over there. But yeah, Keen is utilizing his battlecruisers quite well, I would say. As long as they get out, they're doing damage and then you repair, and repair is really not that expensive. Both sides have thrown away some of their SCVs and should continue to, especially when you have all these orbitals. Because you need a lot of orbitals for scanning and things, but like look at Innovation's bank. 4.5K, 4.2K. Wow.
Yeah, that is important when we get these big fights where the armies are colliding into each other and everything's getting destroyed. Assuming that Innovation has the infrastructure, he can remake that entire army immediately.
Yeah. You see that Innovation has started to send out some of these Liberators. He has reduced his count down to 6, so he got rid of half of them so far. It's definitely something he needs to continue to do.
So we only have one expansion that doesn't have a command center occupying it. I'm not saying that it's going to come down to that one base, but it could.
Yeah, and that's one of the rich geyser bases too, so that's kind of interesting. It's funny that Keen has one, he doesn't have the geysers taken.
Yeah.
It's like, well, don't we just want to see someone mine from those? See what their gas bank looks like afterwards?
Yeah.
Come on.
Continuing to shell over at this area.
Yeah, these moments are so funny because this is what late game TVT can look like, where it's like, yeah, one tank is attacking over here, and that's actually a problem. It's erasing the turrets.
It's another fire to try to put out.
See that? It's like, yeah, he's gaining value against these turrets. You don't need too many siege tanks at this point.
Yeah, all you need is 1 or 2 that are going to be able to shell the ground, because this entire air blob, this cloud of air units is going to be able to defend that. And over time, that 1 tank or 2 tanks can chisel away in this area. And now we're going to be able to see Innovation actually come in here and take out this very important expansion with those rich gas geysers.
Yeah, this is getting so crazy right now. Look at that ton of Yamatos coming out, dealing with a bunch of these turrets.
It is cool to see how the turrets play an interesting role in forcing the Yamatos out.
Yeah.
So that then later on, you can actually have a fight where Yamatos can't be utilized on the aggressor side. So we have Keen once again going to have to teleport away. But hey, I'll take losing turrets all day, especially in a game where it's all about the gas units.
Yeah.
You have the extra minerals anyway. Excuse me, you have the extra minerals anyways.
Yeah. It's like these are fantastic moves that we're seeing. Both these players playing so well tactically and strategically, and it's kind of getting into these really funny areas as well. First off, I love that Keen is adding a few Cyclones. With their lock-on, they definitely can run around the map and cause a bit of havoc. And you got to watch out too, right? If you get to too many Vikings, it becomes somewhat comical in the opposite direction, where tech switches can occur.
Right.
Like, let's say that these guys lose all their BCs, and then it's like 30 Vikings versus 30 Vikings. Well, what beats that? Anything.
It's one of these moments where it's like some of these moments where we see Zergs win, where they just have their whole maxed out army hit a location, then they switch into a different tech to address the next problem, and eventually you've tech looped out of them.
Yeah. Like, if all the BCs die, what wins? Like a Thor? I don't know, a group of Marines? Like,
yeah.
You can suddenly get a lot done with other things.
And that's in part because it takes so long to make a BC that when it's killed, it changes the whole dynamic of the game, especially if a group of them are taken out.
Now, the way that this is being played right now, this is really intelligent on both sides. Like, if you're running BCs around, if your opponent's BCs are moving and killing something, your BCs should be doing that as well.
Right.
It's a really important concept.
I think Innovation, though, has navigated this to a safe position for him. I mean, Keen has lost total control of the top right. That being said, Keen's done some good damage to the bottom left, but as far as minerals and gas go, it seems like as the actual fight happens. Hold up, here it is,
Oh my God, Keen just wrecking absolutely everything.
That was absolutely
in the universe.
beautiful. I was going to say, once the big fight happens, we know that Innovation can at least remake all this, so let's watch the minerals and gas go down. But that engagement from Keen was so good and so cost-effective.
Yeah. I was going to say, the weird thing about Innovation's army is it was his BCs with the rest of his air army, where Keen split them. Your BCs shouldn't be with the rest of your air army, because if your opponent brings all their forces to bear suddenly, only your BCs can get away. So it's like, do you just keep your BCs there? Well, if you keep your BCs there, they get disabled and they all die. So they should actually not be with your main army if you both have this same army.
So this is becoming the complete opposite of the day that we thought we were going to have here, Artosis.
Yes, it
Creator's
really is.
already beaten Classic 2-0, and Keen looks ready to close this one out here as Innovation is getting squished so hard.
Yeah, Keen is smashing some face right now.
I mean, Keen's engagement there was so much better than I think anybody would expect as well. Like, that went so perfectly for him.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the beginning of it, but
But I mean, he came out, I think he still had over 170 supply even after the fight was finished. I mean, it wasn't even like he had to remake that much. We saw Innovation's production tab going crazy trying to catch back up.
And his bank is gone. He's got like no minerals.
Broke.
He is still mining, but his bases they're being erased, you know? Keen is flying around the map.
I think Keen just combs through the bottom left side of the map again. Just keep clearing this area out.
Yeah, look at all those mules. Watch this income fall from plus 4.5K to 0. Okay, so Innovation coming out with his rebuilt forces right now. Let's see, 22 Vikings versus 24, and then 10 BCs against 7. So an anti-armor missile onto Innovation's BCs can allow Keen to do something here, and he has 10 Cyclones now, and there's no actual ground units for Innovation. So yeah, Keen really looks primed to win this, but Innovation's air army against air army can win. It's possible.
He'll need some perfect execution, though.
Yeah, the Raven spells are really, really
here we go.
important.
Teleports over here. Vikings have a nice spread, though.
Oh my God. Yeah, the jumps here to try to dodge Yamatos. We hear half of them going off, then the other half. So many Vikings actually fighting here as well.
Yeah, Innovation has an insane number of Vikings, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. GG, Keen takes that.
Yeah, that was a really well-played game by Keen. Shows his TVT prowess once again. Don't forget, this guy almost knocked out Maru last year and stopped the legend before it began.
And we have not had a game that's not been an upset so far. But I got to say, Keen and Creator are just looking amazing.
Yeah, I feel like Innovation made 2 mistakes this game. He got an air advantage, which you normally get as the bio player. Normally you'll get into a slight air advantage because they don't know exactly when you're switching. And then he made 12 Liberators and didn't do anything.
Right.
So that right there, I think, was the first thing that allowed Keen to get on parity at minimum, and then maybe a slight advantage. And then kind of having his entire army together, where you don't have as many options and your opponent chooses when to engage. Whereas Keen just had BCs out and could warp them at any time to join the rest of his army.
We're going to go to New Repugnancy for game number 2. Keen winning in a very commanding way, going to the super late game in that TVT and just out-navigating Innovation there. Let's see what happens as we move on to game number 2. If Keen wins here, the loser's match is Classic versus Innovation. I know. It's weird.
And it's not like Dark and Stats are in their group.
Yeah.
Africa S2, Keen. Reciprocity, Innovation.
So we have both players going for barracks and gas to start things off. I'm really happy to see how well Keen is playing today. You mentioned this earlier, Artosis, but yeah, Keen looked very good this year already. I mean, but to see him again holding his own and actually dominating Innovation, I think the most technical aspect of that game specifically was the climax of them both maxing out. And I think the fact that he managed to execute that attack with such perfection to where Innovation's supply plummeted, and he was basically in a losing position since then. To see Keen do that against Innovation is insane, because usually when you see two top-tier GSL Codes players and it seems like it's even, generally the more experienced player who's had better results shows why they've been more consistent in very complex situations like that, because they can even handle things as crazy as that to a much better degree than their opponent. So Keen, next level now.
Yeah, he looked really great there.
But you know, Innovation, I almost forgot about it, to be honest, because that game was so long and dramatic. What was that, like a 20-something minute game?
Yeah, that must have been 20 minutes.
Must have been. Innovation actually started that game out with a pretty ambitious and maybe foolhardy push. He came out with his 3 Ravens, tried to attack up a ramp.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was a really poor push.
And then the Ravens were disabled and totally obliterated by the Vikings. And then I'm not saying that Keen had an edge there, but it wasn't like Keen was easily able to take the game to the late game. But kind of a questionable decision there by Innovation.
It was like the type of move that you do on a fresh account on ladder just to get the win and keep moving up to where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. When you're playing somebody and you say, well, I'm basically better than this guy, so let me just do a quick strategy because I don't have all day, right? I want to get in as many games as I can. It almost seemed like that was the case with Innovation back there.
Now look at this move from Keen. Gets 2 Reapers up here. It forces the units back, and then he hits the natural. Right? Does he hit the natural? I saw him bring up another unit, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't think we're going to catch it.
No, we're just not going to look, I guess. Okay, I guess he didn't then.
There
was a mine there anyways, so good defense, yeah. Okay, it was a Hellion that was up there. Oh! Ooh.
So, the Reaper's going to come in here again. Now, if the army tries to attack these Reapers, keep in mind the Hellions can provide some cover.
Yeah. There's no real way to get anything done right there.
Yeah.
These strategies are too similar. The unit set's too similar. The defender's advantage is enough here for Innovation.
Here's Innovation's first Raven starting now.
And we might be seeing that out of Keen momentarily as well.
Ravens are very much the thing to get early on with that Tech Lab.
Their spells are so useful all game.
Yeah.
All game long. All 3 of the spells are really cool.
We've seen Banshees used, but it seems like the Raven just has so many ways that it can be capitalized on as the game progresses.
Well, the Raven's even good against the Banshee, right? So
yeah,
it's just like
useful
the
Banshee
in every way. It's useful against like every unit set. Good for harassment and defense.
Yeah, it's a Swiss Army knife unit for Terran.
Yeah.
That's why it was such a big deal when we saw Innovation clumsily throw those 3 Ravens away. It's like, okay, well, what do you have now besides basic Terran units? Now, Innovation again, it appears like he's setting up to leave his base, or at least I thought he was when he pulled everything out of the main.
Well, maybe he's just kind of waiting for whatever's going to come from Keen, but strategies are so similar right now, I can't imagine a real attack doing anything to either side.
Yeah. But we do see this from time to time. His little skirmishes up here at the front. Yeah. Seems like Keen still has some map control now.
Yeah, pretty close overall, though. And 3rd Command Center starting here for Keen. That was...
Ouch, that's not okay.
It's funny. I don't know what that looked like.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess he didn't lose anything super valuable.
Okay, here comes that push from Innovation. He's going to try to move out. And this is around when Keen is going to try to get that 3rd base. Well, he is getting that 3rd base. So let's see if there's any opportunities for Innovation to get some jabs in here. And let's see how good he is at keeping these Ravens alive and utilizing them. Because last game was a bit of a disaster.
Innovation playing a little bit of a safer game here as well. His 3rd Command Center's in his base, whereas Keen built it on location. So Keen's going for broke.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely the possibility of Keen being punished for this.
That was a sick pickoff, though. Double locks on to Cyclone right there.
Reapers are going to come up now and try to hit the natural here. This may actually draw Innovations. It is going to draw Innovations army away, which means Keen's command center might be safe. It looks like the command center is now going to finish here. So this is a really good tactic here by Keen.
Yeah, his tactical play so far in this series is just amazing. Like, look at this. He's getting some damage done and forcing Innovation back when he's actually the one that's been expanding a bit quicker.
Yeah. And you know what? These Reapers didn't have any purpose anymore anyways, right?
Very, very little.
Reapers get more and more useless as the game goes on. So that's the end of that. But, I mean, he perfectly utilized that. And now look at this. Keen can get over into this position. He even confirms, okay, no CC there yet. I should be in the lead. He doesn't overstay his welcome. He doesn't do anything that could throw away this position. He backs off. He scans. He sees where that army is.
Yeah, and
he's going to send the 3. Oh, no.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
This is why Terran need recall.
Oh my God!
Oh my
Innovation
God!
just didn't see it.
Yes!
Oh my God!
Yes!
Okay, well, I'm not drinking dirty water this time, Tasos. I knew about that already.
This is Wow, we finally have it.
We got
it's
2
now
of
just
3 add-ons.
Artosis, we're getting auto turret tattoos right after the show. This is great. This is the second time we've seen this now used. So good.
He saved a little bit of mana, but let's not forget that now Innovation has more energy on these Ravens. Maybe he can get in and do something. I love the turret that he placed down to try to
disable these tanks.
Oh my God, he's throwing down auto turrets. The turret gets a Raven with high energy. That turret was amazing.
But all Innovation has to do is try to hang on. I'm sorry, Keen has to do is try to hang on.
Things are looking fine, I think, right? A couple of good disables, though, do go out on Keen's tanks. But it seems like all the siege tank volleys were used elsewhere. The tanks come out of that.
Yeah, I mean, Innovation is not going to make an impact here.
Oh, my God. He just holds easily.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Keen's better than Innovation, Creator's better than Classic.
That's the way it is.
It's just what it means. Well, to be honest, they really are outplaying their opponents.
I know.
Like,
that was beautiful.
Like, Keen is kind of tactically outplaying him, running around him, drawing him around. Keen has really been dictating this game. And what has Innovation done? He's done 2 early game poor attacks.
Yep.
And after those poor attacks, he's like, I guess it's macro time.
Stim is just started, by the way, for Innovation. So that's how far out in this game he is. And once again, he's going to try to come up here, but I think this is going to be easily handled here. I mean, both tanks are just shut down. That's a further disadvantage here. Now Innovation's not even pulling his Vikings away.
At least he has the air control and did push that forward a little bit right there. Kind of similar as far as the SCV count goes. Keen just playing that nice game. He's got a good army right now. He's got a couple of Liberators flying out on the map. Looks like he wants to get some harassment done.
And the game goes on, but Innovation's going to have to be ready for the push here from Keen. I mean, it wasn't even just that initial push that was shut down, but the fact that he then sent 2 more tanks with a sparse amount of Vikings to cover it that was also picked off. This means that Keen should have enough muscle. If this attack is executed correctly, and it's easier said than done, he should have enough muscle to maybe even punt the command center onto the high ground. Well, he says otherwise, though. Let's see.
It's so hard to attack uphill.
You know, the thing about Keen, too, is he's well aware of the position that he's in, that he should be able to lead this to a win, so he's being cautious. He doesn't want to overextend here.
I really do like what he's doing. Like, just roaming around, making him reposition. Look at this. 6 kills, plus he's going to get a few Marines. My God.
Okay,
really good.
Innovation already prepared for the unusual angle of attack over here. Stim is done, by the way, for Innovation, so he now has infantry that can be utilized like a normal mid-game TVT.
Yeah. And it's really good that Keen is walking around like this. Like, look, again, command center on location versus the more defensive building your command center back. And, I mean, in this situation, Keen is kind of dictating everything that's occurring in this game. I love the roaming, too. I don't want to see any full attacks, but just roaming around these areas, like we see Innovation consistently scanning, repositioning. Keen's giving himself a lot of opportunities, whereas all Innovation can do is try to defend against all these opportunities.
Okay, another attack in here. Nicely done. The arcing here from Keen. He's going to try to close in. And it's just the tanks over here. And now it's complete ground domination. So the Siege tanks can set up in an even more desirable position here for Keen.
Yeah.
And am I wrong in saying I think, yeah, that is it.
That's
It's
it.
just no.
You are not coming back from this. Absolutely not. He's going to lose all of his upgrades, his third base, most of his units. GG.
GG.
Keen. Wow. And the thing is, Keen was probably thinking coming in here, he's like, well, if I beat Innovation, I have to play Classic. No, he has to play Creator. This is just not the winner's match anyone foresaw. Nobody. One of these guys is going to round of 16, and one out of Classic Innovation is 100% not going.
I thought this was going to be a normal day in the studio, you know. Your standard GSL round of 32, let's get the bad ones out of here day. Guess what?
Who are the bad ones?
That's what I'm getting at already.
Bad ones may have changed.
That's right. Now the bad ones are the good ones, and the good ones are the bad ones. TVP time. Keen versus Creator. Yep, that's right. Keen versus Creator for the third best of 3 will be here after the short break. Don't go away.
And see the strength within, come see the strength within. With all your fears and doubts, please break with fears and doubts. And face your enemies, come face your enemies.
Making me feel like I'm his queen, taking me out in limousines, promising me empty dreams, but he wasn't and I was his life. Reminiscing, checking me out from left to right, waiting to see when I'll stop the fight. Underneath these hazy nights, crazy nuts lies, and I was his life. Reminiscing. Faking it when he called me back into his ride, feeling time like I'm his only. Sitting way too close, alone inside. The walls be closing on me. In him I can't confide, even in my secrets can't confide. Any other person, but he is a burden, and I feel like cursing can't confide. When he called me back into his ride, feeling time like I'm his only. Sitting way too close, alone inside. The walls be closing on me. In him I can't confide, even in my secrets can't confide. Any other person, but he is a burden, and I feel like cursing can't confide. He said, call me back into his ride? I don't know. Is this the show? He was like, I'll make you mine. Running circles in my mind. After you up in my ride. And I was his eye. Reminiscing. I was confused, felt abused, didn't know what to do. And it was a lie. Yeah. All the lies you told me. Burning time to hold me. Scratch that you don't own me. Reading people and faking it. When he called me back into his ride. Killing time like I'm his only. Sitting way too close, alone inside. The walls be closing on me. In him I can't confide. Even in my secrets can't confide. Any other person, but he is a burden. And I feel like cursing can't confide. When he called me back into his ride. Killing time like I'm his only. Sitting way too close, alone inside. The walls be closing on me. In him I can't confide. Even in my secrets can't confide. Any other person, but he is a burden. And I feel like cursing can't confide. Cause you stepped down on my ego. Try to bring me down to zero. Claiming that you're my hero. Reading people and faking it out. Without you I am nothing. So I remind him one thing. I'm reminiscing. When he called me back into his ride. Killing time like I'm his own.
스코어 자체도 4대3으로 너무 아쉬웠고 경기 내용도 충분히 제가 이길 수 있었는데 좀 제가 너무 못해서 져가지고 특히 2세트의 경우는 지면 안 됐는데 그거 졌거든요. 4대0으로 이길 수도 있었는데 이제 제가 너무 실수를 많이 해서 너무 화도 나고 정말 너무 아쉬웠어요.
지금도 엄청 아쉬워하고 있네요.
네, 계속 생각나더라고요. 그냥
항상 똑같이 열심히 하고 있는데 좀 마인드를 좀 바꿔서 좀 뭔가 자신감 있게 좀 이번 시즌은 해보려고 해요. 네. 최근에는 16강을 아예 가보지를 못했기 때문에 뭐 저 어떻게 다른 사람들한테는 모르겠지만 저한테는 일단 16강도 아직은 큰 산이기 때문에 16강을 일단은 노리고 다른 뭐 목표를 잡던지 생각을 해야 될 것 같아요. 네.
성우가 잘해서 진 건 아닌 것 같아요.
진 건 아니고
제가 못해서.
잘한 이유가 있다는 거네.
성우가 잘해서 진 게 아니라 제가 못해가지고. 아쉽기는 했는데요. 뭐 8강에서 져가지고 중국 대회 나가서 우승한 것도 있어서 그냥 쌤쌤이라고 치고 뭐 실력으로 졌다기보다는 좀 충분히 이길 만한 사이즈였는데 제가 약간 못해가지고 진 거여가지고 그런 점은 좀 막 크게 아쉽진 않고요. 그냥 시즌 3 노려야죠.
너무 옛날이긴 한데 그때 WCS가 이제 나오고 처음에 이제 한국 국가대표 선발전에서 우승하고 저는 좀 개인적으로 그때 자신감을 많이 얻었다고 생각해요. 그래서 뭔가 지금도 좀 한 번만 좀 자신감을 얻을 수 있는 계기만 생기면 그래도 좀 잘 할 수 있을 거라 생각하거든요. 그래서 그런 상황이 나올 수 있으면 좋겠습니다. 네.
테란으로 이렇게 성적을 못 내고 있었는데 제 이제 인생의 전환점이 프로토스로 바꾸고 나서 바로 굉장히 잘 됐거든요. 그래서 저의 인생에서는 그 종족 바꾼 게 정말 신의 한 수였던 것 같아요.
뭐 하락세 얘기하라는 거예요? 아니면 상승세 얘기 하고 싶은 거예요?
운동 가도 될 것 같아. 이형은 괜찮은데 운동 가서 먹는 걸로 가자. 손으로 가자. 부러운 선수가 있어요? 부러운 선수. 이처럼 되고 싶다 이런
뭐 상금 랭킹 2등이라서 뭐
제가 못 해본 게 이제 월드 챔피언십 우승이랑 블리츠컨 우승을 못 해봐서 세계대회 우승이 정말 하고 싶어서 그래서 작년에 그 기회가 왔거든요. IM 월드 챔피언십 결승까지 갔는데 거기서 준우승을 해가지고 IM 월드 챔피언십 우승을 했으면 어땠을까.
솔직히 뭐 그런 생각은 많이 안 해봤지만 한다고 하면은 아무래도 성주에 그런 뭐 그냥 가볍게 GSL 우승하는 그런 걸 하고 싶지 않나 저도.
(2019) Mountain Dew GSL Season 3 Code S Reversal.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Creator versus Keen to decide who goes on to the round of 16.
That's right.
In a group that also has Classic and Innovation.
You nailed it.
I just want to make sure
reality.
that this isn't a simulation.
It's probably a simulation still.
Okay.
But
That's
not the one you're thinking of.
So this is just where we're at right now.
Yeah.
What a twist. And what I thought was going to be a basic bro GSL day.
Who's supposed to win this?
I actually don't know. I think Keen, but maybe it's going to be an upset even among the two guys that made the upsets.
Yeah.
Because I think Keen, at least in my experience of casting him and watching him,
He's looked better than Creator.
he's looked
for
better
years.
than Creator, yeah.
Years.
Maybe it's Creator. Maybe I figured the trend out. I don't know. Kings Cove will be our first map. Keen versus Creator. The winner goes on to the round of 16. Let's do this.
Africa S2 Keen. Jin Air Green Wings Creator.
So we had both of these players cause big upsets in mirror matchups. Now we'll get to see what a PBT with these two looks like.
Yeah.
And by the way that they won, it was not a cheeky, cheesy move. There was no quick rushes. There was not even any major catastrophes that started out early on. I know the Innovation kind of messed up once with his Ravens, but I mean, it went into a super late game. There was definitely windows of time where Innovation might have been able to come back. So this, even if it's not a fast, action-packed game, should be a very good PVT.
I would say so. They're both looking strong. They both outplayed two of the best. Like, I think you have to rate both those guys within top three of their races for years. Years. So, I mean, let's see. It's like Keen is a guy that I'm always ready to surprise everyone because he's a better player than his results really show, I think. Whereas Creator, I guess more lately he has gotten better, like we mentioned before, but not for as long as Keen. So definitely kind of expecting him. If you look at the maps that we have, most of the vetoes nowadays are going towards having both King's Cove and Thunderbird being played, and they're kind of the more macro-esque maps, and they're both here. So, you know, when I look at that, a lot of Protoss players are more comfortable than Terran players getting into those later parts of that matchup, but Terrans have gotten a lot better at it, so I'm not sure exactly how to figure out who's supposed to win this. It's just everything is a kind of a surprise today.
I'm trying to back off of my usual expectations with these two now that I've seen how well they played. Especially
Really?
Keen and
know.
just...
You were pretty straightforward saying that most people consider Classic a better player than Creator, so I mean, I feel like you'd have a strong opinion here as well.
I don't know what to say, though. I mean, especially, for instance, with Keen, to see late game that good against one of the top 3 Terrans of all time is crazy.
Yeah.
Usually, the very, very, very best in the world, the most storied, players with the most trophies, if you want to put it one way, usually their late game is where they exhibit why they cannot lose, why players are more inclined to cheese them, why a game where they have more tools at their disposal, they simply put become much more of a threat. The fact that Keen played that beautifully and that patiently, and then when it came down to one of the most difficult things to execute in StarCraft 2, which was trying to get everything in that position with the battlecruisers warping in, the Vikings in the right spread, Ravens coming into play, Yamato's going down, he did it like perfectly. Shows what kind of condition he's in.
Yeah.
I will say I think Classic had a little bit more blunders against Creator. But, we've had plenty of games where Creator, and you can go back in the VOD and check, guys. We were talking about this, and it's not untrue, but Creator definitely had some games where he sort of had a lead and couldn't close the games out. This is a historical fact. So to see Creator also just handle it with such grace is so cool. I love seeing players who've played for a long time and maybe haven't succeeded, or in the background, in the shadows of the other pros, and then their moment comes.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Because people gel with things they're trying to get better at different times in their lives.
Absolutely. Everyone learns at their own rate, and that doesn't mean that someone is always going to be better than someone else, even if they learn a lot quicker, become a champion right away. Like sometimes over time, that's how it goes.
So, just because someone was dominating, let's say in the first 3 or 4 seasons of GSL, a lot of those players, if not all of them, are not here in the same capacity, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them had to fade out because other players caught on. But I do like the story of a game that's as old as StarCraft 2. As someone who's been grinding the whole time, it starts to click. It starts to happen.
Or what about starts to click again?
Sure.
Because both of these guys had higher rankings way back. Both of them.
Very true.
Right? Keen wasn't quite as good as Creator back then, but he was a legitimate Terran, whereas, well, now he still kind of is, like he makes it into GSL, but it's very rare that he gets around to 16. He's done it like once in the past 3 years.
By the way, the 3 Oracles are coming up. We're probably going to have our first engagement here. It appears that Keen is ready. There's also 3 Adepts. It looks like they may be planning on shading in. At least he's flirting with the idea of doing something here.
I like that stasis ward.
Yeah.
People used to put it down right where the command center is, but this is, oh wait, that is right where the command center is. So I thought it was up a little bit so it would catch SCVs that come out in a clump, but never mind.
I like the idea of what you're talking about, though, Artosis.
Yeah. Either way, there are a ridiculous amount of stasis wards on the map. And we saw someone else do this the other day, which was, I'm always interested in plays like this because the stasis ward got severely nerfed, right? It runs out now. So, like, before, I was like, okay, this is going to be the most broken thing in the whole game. And it started to get very good, and then it just kind of, now that it's timed, it's like, when your opponent goes past 3 command centers, is it worth using all your Oracle energy putting these down right now?
We have the Adepts shaded into the natural here. It looks like they're going to kill about 5 SCVs. Now, where are the Oracles on the minimap? I'm having a hard time. I think they're in the bottom center. Yeah, there they are.
Okay.
Now, he still has the map with plenty of traps here, plenty of pitfalls for the Terran to fall into.
And there's an Immortal walking across the map.
Yeah,
is that a mistake?
That has to be a bad rally because of where the Warp Prism is. Unless he has only 2 Zealots inside that, and then he picks the Immortal up. No, I think that was just
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that thing.
So he's going to send that back. There was a Warp Prism. Sorry, it still is over here. And it's going to be used to try to do some warp-ins. Is Creator going to try to attack with this? Because if he sends the warp-in alone without anything, I think it just, unless he gets a good recall, I think it just won't do that much. It'll do a little bit of damage. He'll trade in some Zealots, and then it'll get shot down. I'm worried, too, because you can always try to come over here with the Raven.
He's moving in exactly as Keen is moving out. So whether it's good luck or just awareness of timings, this is reasonable right here, right? Look at Keen turn around. Anytime you fly in a prism and like force lost mining time, maybe kill a couple of SCVs, and force the army to turn around, what a gigantic advantage that is.
Okay, you know what? He did not lose anything but a Zealot.
Yeah.
Always worth it, especially, not even just to get the SCVs, but to control your opponent's movement patterns.
the amount of time that he's bought himself here.
And
Thermal Lance will be done before they clash. He has more robo units. He has another warp in round or 2.
Now he's getting this 6 o'clock base over here as this is happening as well. Now Kina seems intent on trying to move out once more, and that is tagged by the Oracles here.
Yeah, that's a very good tag, seeing most of the Widow Mines there as well. He's going to see the army movement. Where's Creator's army? That can't be it right there. He has to have more than that.
He should. I think there's more regrouping here from the natural.
Only 1 Colossus? Okay, there's
2
a second one,
Colossi.
but I mean, he has disables for both.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the Protoss was able to come out and bait out the disables and then run back.
Oh, he has a High Templar, so he's going for the feedback. A beautiful move here.
Oh!
Time for Keen to turn around.
Yeah.
This is not happening right now, Keen.
Creator is playing the games of his life right now.
Great move there. You don't see that enough, but that is... And do you know why he could do that? It's because of that Warp Prism. It bought him so much time.
And look at this. I think this was even a mistake here by Keen to leave those Widow Mines there. It's easily taken out as well. A drop comes in here, but with 3 Oracles, everything on the ground will be sprayed down, no problem. Meanwhile, at the 4th base, an attack over here.
Great move here to take out the 4th base. It seems like those Widow Mines may have been there to buy some time for the drop on the natural, and then he hit the 4th. So when you put all those things together, very worthwhile.
So, Keen still holding his own here, doing a good job. I think especially denying that 4th Nexus was quite important. Keen's taking the command center in the sweet spot, the easy spot to usually hold here against any kind of Protoss push. And we'll see if Creator has the opportunity to come back and hit that again. Meanwhile, Keen once more with another drop over here at the natural, and I believe he's actually barreling towards the main as well.
I'm going to have to pick up there as the Oracles come back. Does get those feedbacks off. So kind of cool right there, as Psystorm is not finished yet.
Does this end up becoming an overextension here?
Yeah, Keen is not really finding that much damage. Like he's working really hard for it, but it's not really materializing.
You can really put some emphasis on what it's like when you don't have medevac heal there, because the feedbacks, the energy's all gone. I mean, the army is actually just a much more manageable thing. Where otherwise the Protoss is trying to make sure that you have enough at the right time, otherwise you actually lose the fight. In this case, an A-click will allow you to eventually come out on top.
You know, towards the end of this actually worked out. He just got that Prism, and it still had an Immortal in it. He got 13 probes. He snapped up a Colossus. He sniped the 4th again, and during all this, he's taking his own 4th. So, like, this... Like, it was defended pretty well overall by Creator, but Keen kept it up. His multitasking there was really phenomenal.
We need to see what happens now that everything has basically been held off. You tell me this medevac's going to die. Okay. Now that things have basically been held off, does Terran actually have enough to defend? One thing about an attack like that is that you're trading off a lot of your own units and your medevacs to try to kill key tech structures, kill workers, kill Nexi. And so maybe Creator can actually flip this on its head and take this disadvantage and put it into an advantage. Ouch.
Yeah.
I said that as the Oracles are going down. I was happy with my statement, but let's see, though, for real.
Yeah. So, I mean, his army is pretty decent here. Where is that all the splash, though? Okay, 2 High Templars, 1 Colossus. Doesn't feel like it's really enough. Sure, he has a good amount of Zealots, and he has 2-2. But Keen has 2-2 as well. He's really kept up with those upgrades.
Going to try to come out here again.
Yeah, he can't engage that right now.
It's funny how the planetary can make it so much harder to actually get close to that. Nicely done, disabling that. Whoa!
My God.
Keen, like the perfect plays, 2 in a row there. The Colossi go down. The infantry are going to decimate the remaining Protoss army here, especially as reinforcements come in. And 1 stray Immortal, almost picked off.
Wow. Just awesome play there by Keen. And obviously he will clean up this entire army. That, like, losing that entire army, I don't think that there's much of a chance here for Creator.
Yeah.
Good idea to go into Disruptor, definitely. Have to hand that to him, but...
It presented itself as a bit of an afterthought as the whole army was gone and there was 1 Disruptor shot that went out and didn't do much of anything.
Yeah. Now, but going into just Blink Disruptor here, maybe you get a few lucky shots, and you're playing against a lot of Vikings, so that kind of equalizes it in some ways.
Yeah, it's definitely a good unit comp to have coming up against this, but we'll have to see how good Keen's splitting is. There's also a lot of area to cover here for Keen. I'm sorry, for Creator, so Keen can hit in a lot of different locations.
Is that a Viking hit squad that's on the ground.
You better believe it, Artosis.
All right.
I want to see the Viking hit squad run by as they run into the main and try to kill probes.
Seriously.
Okay, so that base is taken down. Oh yeah, now look how bad Vikings are. They're like stuck behind each other.
Okay, never mind. Took half of the shields off that.
Half the Vikings literally running in the back trying to find the right location to then hit that.
All right, so a good drop in the main base. Very, very Marauder heavy.
One thing about this as well is that when you're dropping like this, the disruptor shots cannot go up the high ground. So you're actually getting to pick a lot more fights that you would normally go much worse for you as a Protoss.
Yeah. Couple disruptors out in the middle here.
Okay. I think we might be getting close to the finisher here. GG. Keen takes game 1 versus Creator.
And he played really well. Creator started out with the pretty nice opening overall, was defending well, but Keen's multitasking was on point. He was expanding behind it. He kept up with his upgrades the entire time. He did some beautiful tactical moves where it was like, chase this, now I kill that. Awesome.
King's Cove, more like Keen's Cove, Artosis.
Could have sworn that joke's been made before.
No, I think it's the first one.
Certainly.
It was going to happen eventually, though.
Well, he definitely played very, very well there. You know what I like about these upsets that we're seeing right now is it's not like last season where, you know, it's like, oh, this sharp timing killed him. He's out. Look at that. But, like, Keen and Creator are both playing very well today. This is nice.
Yeah.
This is refreshing.
Creator was actually winning that for a little bit. I think he just had a pretty catastrophic attack there when he was trying to hit the 4th. But, I mean, these guys are both killing it. We're going to Thunderbird for game 2. Right now, Keen with a 1-0 lead. The winner. You guys get it. Round of 16. The guy that wins goes on.
Africa S2, Keen.
All
Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
right. Thunderbird, another really big macro map.
I'm happy. I'm really happy with the results so far today. This has been so cool to see these guys, both of them, big upsets, and as they're facing off head-to-head, more evidence it wasn't a fluke or just a weird game. They're having a great game 1.
It's not like they're stepping on rakes the entire time.
Right,
they're making some very good moves.
Slipping on banana peels and sitting down on benches that say wet paint.
Yeah. All right, quick scout here. Just making the Nexus behind. Interested to see what Creator's tech path is going to be as opposed to Keen's.
Why is that?
Well, he went for the Stargate opener, and he was extremely defensive with it. Like, extremely defensive, right? He went 3 Oracles, didn't really do very much harassment. Yeah, we saw a little tiny bit, but just kind of set up the stasis wards and everything, right? Is that going to be his style here? Is he going to, again, go for a more defensive macro game? This is maybe even a better map for than King's Cove, really, right?
You know, what's funny about it as well is that it doesn't seem to look like what the other Jin Air players do. You know what I mean? We talk a lot of times when we're talking about Jin Air specifically because they're so dominant as a StarCraft 2 team that, you know, when you're looking at someone like Trap or Maru or, you know, any of those guys, you have to factor in the rest of their teammates as well because when you're on a team like that and the way that team operates, it's a collective brain in a lot of senses, right? They're all sharing ideas and training together and helping each other out where, you know, it's very different from some of these players where it really, truly is a one-man army with occasional assistance from fellow rivals. Yeah. So to see Creator come from that team but actually deliver a very unique opening of his own in this is very exciting because it means maybe Keen's finding more of his own way here as well. It didn't look like it was a carbon copy of, like, Trap, for instance.
Yeah, yeah. Keen here, going for a very fast third command off of literally just a reactor barracks. So, gonna play a very macro-intensive, heavy game. Creator, over on the other hand, Robo into Twilight, just kind of normal stuff. Doesn't feel like he's going to be able to punish anything. Oh, never mind. Okay, so we're actually going to see DT. Now, he's blindly making turrets because he was doing such a greedy build, right?
Yeah.
If they go Oracle and you've done this build, and you don't make the turrets, you're just going to lose.
So one funny concept that's actually happening here is because there's turrets there, I guess that helps against DTs. It might, we'll see how the execution goes.
Yeah.
It might outright stop it. But these turrets are not necessarily there to stop DTs.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely. That's an anti-Oracle turret
yes,
in the main.
Exactly. So what's funny about this is that in some way, Keen is safe, he's fine, but for the wrong reasons, but that's going to be okay anyways.
Yeah, but look at how many gates and charge on the way. It seems like he's probably going to use Jim's build, which we saw fail recently from Party.
Oh, let's use the DTs as well.
Yeah, that's pretty big right there. So can he actually hold on after scouting that? He's starting to add bunkers, which is probably the right thing to do. I think he should be throwing up some missile turrets too, to be honest, because the way that this strategy goes, and again, Parting ended up winning a game last season with it. It was given to him by Jim, and then he used it again this season. I believe it was Parting that used it, and it went terribly wrongly and lost. But what you do is you have 2 prisms, and you fly in, and you can utilize like Archon and Charge and a lot of gateways and just kind of bludgeon your opponent. It works surprisingly well. He makes the 3rd Nexus. Maybe because it got scouted, he's canceling? Look at that. He's getting everything at once.
Yeah, the game has been pulled in a lot of different directions, so he's got the 2 DTs there. He picked him up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He did make an Archon.
Yeah, I wonder, is he still going to do this?
I don't know about this anymore,
He's actually
Artosis.
getting a good scout. Yeah, with all the bunkers.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I
He's
mean,
got 4 bunkers.
The bunker is the easiest way to identify that this probably isn't going to just work, right?
Well, I mean, if it just kills the bunkers, that's... What are...
Terran is actually happy to lose bunkers if they don't lose anything else.
Absolutely. They want you to attack them in bunkers. They made the right decision making.
Oh my god. Oh
my god.
Oh man. Crater's face when that happened. He looked like he looked like he ate his lips.
Yeah.
When that happened.
He did look like he ate his lips. Okay, so anyways, the whole build that I was talking about is not being pulled off at this point. It seems like he just canceled it when it got scanned so perfectly.
Which I think, I mean, it makes sense. It was kind of sad to see the execution of an Archon, thinking he was playing against a Zerg player and then dying to Marines like that. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to get a little bit of extra damage. In all seriousness, he was trying to get a little bit more hurt out there and then go back into a macro game. He's still got the 2 War Prisms out on the map, so he can try to come up here to 12 o'clock and then slip into the main. I mean, there are Marines out on the map here for Keen. Keen may be behaving more liberally than he should.
Yeah, you can still get some damage done with this. It's just not the dangerous all-in that it was before. Oh, he actually canceled Charge even. That's crazy.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You don't see that every
Good
day.
catch, Artosis. That's something I was not looking for, but yeah, you're right. As the Zealots are moving around here,
yeah, so
this is just slow Zealots.
This is definitely a very huge change that he did once it got scouted, which I applaud him for. Not many players are willing to change their build order, their strategy that much upon something as simple as a scan. But seems like a good choice. Like he's doing a little bit. He's harassing a little bit.
Because the slow Zealots do still get in the way.
Yeah.
Now we've got a medevac drop coming in here. And let's see if this does anything. Because Terran's finally having some moments where they can do some of their own plays here on the map. This is just Envision a Creator. The Creator, yep, he reacts.
Just blink forward there. Oh. Okay, gets out. 3 more medevacs on the way.
Yeah, and this might be headed towards the natural, although it could end up coming over the 4th base incidentally.
I like that he kind of chased over in that direction, seeing if you could get that Archon hit to finish it off.
Keep in mind with some of these drop plays like this, you might force a recall somewhere and then you can win with a drop elsewhere on the map. Oh! Okay, one medevac shot right out of the sky. Bumpy game as far as drops go for both of these players. The stim is coming down now on this Nexus, but the presence of the DT drives that away. A drop comes in over here, but one blink and he should be able to take that medevac out. He does. Keen losing on so many fronts here.
Yeah, he's not really getting any damage done at the moment. Still trying, but it seems like Creator is just defending every single angle.
Well, the fourth comes down for Creator. I mean, Creator's winning the fights. It was a very unusual game. We had lots of canceled tech. This is an example in Creator's case of somebody who's really intuiting how to navigate this game step by step, even if execution has been a little bit off. Even having the understanding of, okay, we'll get a few slow zealots in here that at least sort of gets in the way. It makes enough of a headache for the Terran.
Yeah.
That I can slow down this third. And from here, it appears, though, we might have a push from Keen, or maybe even just multiple drops. But I'm getting worried for the guy here because I think we're going to have Creator push up here. Now, this drop over here, is there any way to salvage this? It appears not.
No, he's going to let that one go, and I think that that's actually fine because his army, his standing army right now, is ridiculously strong.
This exemplifies how drop is such a double-edged sword. You can be dropping and hitting a lot of locations, but if you're losing chunks of that army, eventually the counterattack is an inevitability.
Yeah, especially in a situation like this. He's finishing up 2-2. I feel like this attack just wins the game. Like, even with this, it looks like Keen wants to do a base trade, which is probably his best bet, is to try to hold his main and base trade, but I don't think that does anything.
Okay, immediately guns down the command center so you can't have any shenanigans with that. But this is a sizable army. I think you're right, Artosis. Creator should win this, but let's see what Keen can do with this.
Yeah, he needs to force a recall to live through it in his main base, but I don't know how quickly he can really do that. He's got very few scans. There's DT tech out, which is amazing in base trades.
Taking out both those command centers as well. The main is generally the one that's least likely to have the energy, you know? So he's going to come up here, and that should be the beginning of the end. I mean, there's no way to recover. He can eventually, after he's decimated all the infrastructure, he's already gotten rid of the expansions, he can go ahead and come back home and just save this. And then, you know, it's pretty easy, to be honest, for the Protoss to then just make a Nexus and sit back and turtle and wait. Eventually, this becomes a victory. Well, the Nexus goes down. Okay, hold on a second.
If he kills all the probes, it's a draw.
Well, he's going to get this last CC.
Okay, there's plenty of probes, though. But are there? Too bad. That would have been an amazing couple mine hits on the right probe stack. But he's got enough money for a Nexus, so that's just kind of...
That's the most important factor here.
Yeah.
Now, it always gets a little bit trickier on both sides as far as who has what when you're actually playing in the game.
Keen's got so few buildings left.
Our omnipotence with having an observer here actually helps out a lot, and us being able to track this. But when you're in these moments, there's so many moving parts. So Keen should basically be dead. He doesn't, of course, know how many minerals are there. I can't believe he made the Nexus right there. All right.
I think he might have just insta-made it so he doesn't get revealed, maybe?
Oh, maybe you're right.
So yeah, he had enough for multiple Nexuses.
Okay, that one's forced to cancel. That does put him...
Keen doesn't know if another one's being made. I think he probably assumes that it is.
Well, he has to if he doesn't have vision yet.
Well, it does take a little bit of time.
He's getting all these probes mowed down. So what is that? He has 20, okay, 17 workers remaining. There's zilch here for Keen.
And the thing is, even if he were to get that Nexus, he has enough money for another Nexus. Creator just has a big bank here, which makes it very tough.
In a sense, we're almost waiting for Keen to kind of get a handle of the situation. He's still roaming the map. And yeah, I mean, these 17 workers are just going to start mining. Protoss doesn't really have to do anything. First of all, Protoss can't get to the floating buildings right now in that center left location. So you're basically just going to wait and try to build up to something. And here we may, in fact, see him GG.
Yeah, well, I think you're supposed to suicide on the Nexus.
Yeah. Okay. But of course, with those extra minerals, another Nexus was a possibility. Good win there by Creator. I really love that.
Yeah, very well done. That was just a very strong play from him. Keen made the best of a bad situation. If Creator had you know, just spent all of his money instantly, that could have been a draw. So, good thing he had that bank there. It's really what saved him.
Another great series.
Yeah.
With our two initially underdogs, now really showing why they were able to both beat these players we initially perceived to be so much stronger than them.
And now we're going to go into Acropolis as our map 3. Not really sure who's going to be able to take this one. Seems relatively evenly matched. Keen overdoing it a little bit with the aggression there.
You know, Creator, I've just been informed, by the way, Creator wants to take a short break, which we do allow for. Kind of a crazy moment for these two.
Yeah.
In a group that, to be frank, I wasn't as excited about as, you know, some of the other groups we have here. And now this is proving to be one of the groups with the best games and some of the craziest stories, really. So in that last game, I thought Creator, he was in an odd spot, right? Because he was doing an unusual build, and it was scanned. And the scan was perfect enough that you basically could identify what was coming. And so he was faced with a tough situation. Do you go ahead and go with the strategy anyways? A lot of times that's a big mistake. And so with an already unusual build, he has to try to then shift gears and go into a different direction and play an unusual, little bit of a harass, but mostly just a macro tech game. Obviously, it was a little bit bumpy, but he eventually was managing to get into a very good spot. Unfortunately, Keen attacks in so much, and in some of those moments, even if he's killing off workers or a Nexus, he's also losing the medevacs, the Marauders, the Marines, and it can be deceptive when you're watching because you're seeing a Protoss get owned all over the place, but then when you look at army supply, suddenly there's all these Colossi, you know, every Tier 1 unit pushing forward here and tearing through, and Keen just did not have enough to ever win in a base trade.
Well, it seemed like the same decisive moment as on King's Cove, where Keen starts hitting everywhere at once, and either it works out or it doesn't work out. It worked out on King's Cove. It started not working out, but then he started getting the damage everywhere and, you know, killed a bunch of expensive units, killed a bunch of probes, got rid of a Nexus, but he didn't find that on Thunderbird. So when you don't find that, and Creator's been hitting his build the whole time, macroing the whole time, 2-2 with that type of army, you can just roll through them.
I am happy with either of these players moving on.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both looking great. It's like they're both new iterations of themselves. And I guess we're going to find that out. I think we're about to jump back into Game 3, close the series out. It'll be on Acropolis. Keen 2.0, Creator 2.0. They've both been patched, Artosis.
Yeah.
These are the new strong units in StarCraft 2.
Good thing, too, because Keen 1.5 and Creator 1.5, round of 32 guys.
Yeah, for a little bit, Keen was a scout
of
all the units in the game, but now he's looking very strong. Let's go to Game 3 now. Not see Keen and Creator in the patch notes, but okay.
Stealth patch.
Afrika S2, Keen. Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
This is definitely another map that can give us a big macro game, too. Very interesting to see the vetoes change over time. How we've been seeing all three of these maps, especially King's Cove and Thunderbird, a lot.
It's been nice.
Yeah, I like to get into some macro games after so much aggression for a season and a half or so.
Yeah, there was a period of time where it actually got weird if we got to, 20 minutes into a game. Felt unnatural because there was so much action going on. So we've got the Nexus coming down here for Protoss. The probe is staying behind here. Looks to block off the command center.
Is being as annoying as he can be, or is it not to?
Thanks.
Oh, nice block.
continuing on. I mean, we got to wait a little bit, see what Protoss is going to do. How you doing today, Artosis? This is a slow build here for this game.
Yeah. Slow openings for the time being. No, I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back casting.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of that.
We have a lot of casting coming up here.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
2 days after that, we fly to China. Some WCG action. It's going to be fun.
That's where it all started for Young Tasteless. Did you know that? Actually, you knew
did.
that. Of course you knew that.
Yeah, I was there.
It is cool that tournament is back.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's thanks for joining us, guys, here on this Saturday afternoon of GSL Code S. If you're just now tuning in, this has been just such a crazy group with 2 major upsets of Classic and Innovation and losers.
I know, it's so weird.
I mean, I don't know what to say.
No.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I'm actually very curious to see, let's say that both Keen and Creator actually move on. We know at least one will. How well will they perform against these other players? Because Innovation and Classic are like top tier players.
Yeah.
So,
and if they move on to the round of 16, during the group selection ceremony, they're likely both to be picked up first and second.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because they just, the respect won't catch up with the skill. You know,
Exactly.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
people
mean,
will view them as the weakest players in the next round,
And then-
almost certainly.
And then if they move on from there, it's going to get really crazy.
One of these guys makes a round of 8, that is, then we got to re-ask that question, what's your career-defining moment? You know?
Right. Okay, a little bit of attack in here from Keen, softening up some of these adepts. Somehow.
Yeah, decent micro from Creator, I want to say, but Keen's micro is out of control. You see that?
I know.
It was
Greediest,
ridiculous.
craziest micro I've
On
ever
both
seen.
sides. You almost have to zoom your screen out to micro like that. That was really fantastically done. And Creator dealt with it pretty well also. Again, both of them showing that they're playing well today.
Yeah, in top form here. Oracle's about to be out on the map now. And it looks like Creator is almost, he's got a probe at his 3rd already.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, yeah, okay, he's going to do it. He makes a 3rd Nexus right away.
Yeah, it's pretty good with Oracle. Normally you can pin them in their base for a little bit, and you should be able to hit your gateway explosion before any normal timings. But
Yeah, and this is all, of course, reliant on the fact that the Oracle is able to keep the Terran feeling threatened.
yeah.
Because if this, let's say this Oracle just dies, totally different game here. It's also why we see multiple Oracles being made.
Yeah, it's just some light harassment, but has to make it live, has to get it out. I wonder what this is with Keen, by the way, because his 2 racks is, you know, reasonably quick. He's
Oh my
getting
god,
steam-
oh my
steam
god,
reasonably
oh my
quickly.
god! Takes the Oracle out.
Was that Oracle a close friend of yours?
That was my best friend. Ori the Oracle.
Yeah. Poor Ori. Rip.
Now, Stim's coming. Again, the Oracle's not just there to do damage to the SCVs of the expansion, but also to try to kill off workers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not to try to kill off attacking units as well here. So, you know, you're taking 3 bases here. Stim's on the way. Cyclones are out.
You see Creator's a little bit scared. Like, he built
Yeah,
the
well,
2
he should
shield
be.
batteries at his 3rd.
Well, this is what I was wondering. Is Terran going to try to come and strike back here?
He cancels 1, so he's starting to doubt his read there.
From here, Blink's on the way. We got more gateways coming down.
Yeah, and I definitely think that Keen is gearing up to move out. Definitely feels that way. Okay, he's going to start sending his units out here. Decent amount of Marines. No combat shields at the moment. Obviously, you got to have Stim finish up here first.
And here's the moment Terran tries to come out. Now, what's in the main here? It looks like absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I don't think he has a mine or anything here, so
Yeah, I don't see it.
this is pretty huge.
So.
Well, he actually has 5 SCVs, but hold on, these Hellions running by into the main base is pretty big. Don't forget he has his other force coming, so if you send too many units up here to deal with this... Oh, he has Phoenixes, never mind.
Okay, he scans.
I guess he's fine. Locks on for that. And, I mean, he has Stim. These gateway units are going to have a hard time, even with the shield battery.
The Oracles are coming in. It might be a little bit late, though. And one Oracle goes down. The other one could be picked off. He's going to back off. Keep in mind, Blink is not far away from being a major factor here.
Yeah, that's really, really true. Very back and forth so far. Both sides having some really nice moves, some good harassments when their opponents are out of position.
This has been such an awesome series.
Yeah, it's really good.
So we have a pickup over here. Blink is close to being done. Is he going to combo this with the rest of the army over there?
I don't think so. I think this is one of the ones where you're trying to get him out of position, right?
Okay.
That's 10 Marines. It's kind of a funny amount. I think he's going to go to the main and hit the third at the same time here.
I guess the moment that you see the 2 medevacs, you might assume they're full as well.
Yeah.
And actually overestimate the power of this drop. But he's going to drop it out of vision. Okay, so it's actually the reverse. He wants to draw attention over here and then do damage in the main. I thought it was going to be a flip of that.
We're going to have to see a recall if he wants to save these probes. Oh, this is brutal.
Okay, no recall yet. And now another attack in over here, taking out a total of 9 probes so far.
Everything going wrong right now for Creator. Blinks forward. He wants to deal with this completely, but what's happening in the main base?
I don't know, Artosis. We haven't seen yet. There it is. All right, so that was cleaned up.
Yeah, but 9 probes?
Yeah. Now, remember, we saw in the other game, it was a similar situation, at least for starts, where Keen was doing drops everywhere, killing a lot of stuff off, and then the counterattack comes in from Creator. So we want to watch out for that as well.
Yeah, he doesn't have great upgrades or anything. It's +1 against +1, and he only has Blink. Charge is on the way, though. I believe we have a big Widow Mine drop moving out right now from Keen. So this kind of counter drop, if he holds on against this push, could give him a giant lead. Looks like he'll hold that for now.
Charge is going to be a big factor here in these fights. There's that drop once more. Okay, he actually pocketed one of those. He's going to try to drop this one up here. Let's see if he's watching.
Well, look at that. This is a lot of lost mining time, if nothing else. Ends up killing 4 probes.
Oh! And, you know, that's what you're looking for with a drop like that, is one of those moments.
Yeah, really worthwhile. The counterattack hasn't done anything. He's sending out another 2 medevacs. Creator's got to get something done with these stalkers, but I can't see it. Can't see it happening.
Looks like Creator has plans of his own to do a big warp in here in the main. Was there ever any defense put in here since those oracles came in? It doesn't look like there's that much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, it's just the units that are spawning out of this, the barracks is here.
Got some very annoying stuff here. The 2 Phoenixes do find that medevac. Creator starting to get some damage here and there.
These guys are so crazy in some of the plays we're seeing here. He had a very nice attack in there. I think he might have wanted to stay a little bit longer, but instead he's going to recall back home with Stalkers and Immortals coming in here to try to drive this away. Another big mine hit, though. Meanwhile, back in the Terran base, 15 SCVs have already been killed. It looks like that attack has finally been mopped up.
Oh my god.
Oh no, he's going to lose Storm.
More probes, lost mining time. Storm in the Templar Archives going down. Keen playing just a beautiful game.
Oh my god. Denies ground armor as well.
Are you kidding me? That's insanely strong.
I was mentioning.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was mentioning that Zealots with Charge are, very important here in trying to hold off some of these fights because they get you sustained. But now they're going to be they're going to be squishier. They're going to run up faster and then die faster. Yeah.
Wow. Keen doing a great job. Now he has to be careful not to overextend. If he loses a big army like this, I mean, that's where Creator starts to really come back with this reinforcement. Beautiful. Now he does have that advantage. Should be able to take that army out. Not even a sentry in there. We're talking basic right now.
Keen coming forward again. Does he pick up and dive into the main? I can imagine a situation where Protoss sets up and then we see an instant drop over there. But so far, nothing of the sort. Instead, he's actually parading more units forward. He might want to just battering ram through here.
All right. This is looking real good for Keen right now. We're going to have some magnificent storms, and he's going to have to buy time before that can even happen. Making an Archon, you can see he doesn't have a lot of faith. Here comes Keen. Look at that. He scares him back.
Storm is still so far out.
Yeah.
But I guess the math might be a little bit fuzzy here for Keen here.
He's realized now that it is not ready, but Storm is coming. He's whittling down so much of the army before it's there, though.
Okay, there it is.
I feel like it might be too little too late. More and more Terran reinforcements coming across the map right now.
Yeah, as long as he can continue to run back from those storms, I think he might win this tug of war here. There's more reinforcements coming up as well. Again, the real units here, well, I was going to say it was an Archon and Immortal, now just an Immortal.
Yeah, Keem just breaking through absolutely everything. No chance left for Creator. GG is called, and Keen wins a group with Innovation and Classic in it.
Get those Keem memes ready.
Wow.
What a great day so far.
It's exciting.
I'll tell you what, though. I'd be a little bit nervous if I'm Creator. He was so close to getting out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking great.
Well,
but
whoever comes up, like, Keen just played a great TVP series, right? So Creator shows he can play pretty toe-to-toe.
Right.
And then if Classic beats Innovation, which wouldn't be a surprise to anyone, I mean, he already beat him PvP 2-0.
Yeah.
You already kind of outplayed him there. Creator has a real chance to get out of here as well.
We're going to go to an interview with Keen and see how he's feeling in a group that was so much against him as far as odds. He's managed to be the first to move on from this group and go on to the round of 16. So crazy. And this interview will be translated by Andy, and we'll be going to that now.
네, 오늘 1위 진출자
Hello guys, we have our first winner of Group F round of 32. It is Keen.
축하드립니다.
Congratulations. Thank you.
네, 올해 마지막 시즌 그래도 16강에
This is your
올라가게
last season of the year, and you made it to the round of 16. How do you feel? Well, first of all, I thought I would make it out as a second place if I win, but I'm really happy.
잡고 올라갈 각오로 오셨다고 하셨잖아요.
Well, you look very determined today.
오늘 1위 진출 사실
And your first place today, you might have also predicted the 4 wins today. Well, until the first set, I was happy. And then I knew that if I win another set, I could win. But then I lost one more set. So I was a little scared at the 1-1 moment.
조금은 무리한 견제가 독이 돼서 조금 내주긴 했는데 3세트 같은
In the third set,
고수하셔서
you opted for the same strategy, and then you did gain the win.
온라인에서도 경기를 많이 해봤거든요.
I played against Creator kind of a lot in the online games, and then I exploited its weaknesses. In the third set, I was kind of hesitant, but then I decided to play passive and safe, so I just opted for the strategy that I prepared. And that's why I opted for the strategy.
맞았던 것 같습니다. 오늘 황규석 선수 교전의 신 같은 모습을 잘
And you know, you were really good at the skirmishes today.
적이 많았죠.
And every skirmish, you took the upper hand. And your interference metrics was like today pinpoint accuracy. And then you were able to gain the big win and move into the round of 16. And it felt like your condition was really good today. Were you satisfied with your performance today? Well, against Innovation, I'm kind of scared playing against him. And I see that Innovation is a very aggressive player, so I took that into thought and I prepared a strategy just for him.
선수가 그 4연속 우승하던 시절에도 운영으로 유일하게 이겼었던 게 황규석 선수.
And when Maru was on a roll with his 4 consecutive championships, you were known to be very good at macro. I've had confidence in TVT, but you know, it's only against Innovation that I feel a little bit scared.
신영 형한테 너무 독이 되지 않았나 싶네요. 자신감이 올라가고.
그랬군요. 그 뉴 리퍼그넌시
in New Repugnancy, you know, Innovation has gathered a lot of resources for the late game, but before he can do anything else, you went for the surprise attack, and then you did gain the win.
아니요, 그냥 저는 신영 형이 3밤까마귀로 한 번만 튀어나오길 기다리고
Well, I just waited for Innovation to pull off a 3 Raven play.
제 밤가 움직임
And
때문에
he did.
신영 형이 많이 말렸던 것 같아요.
And then I think that's when he kind of got tilted.
네, 그렇군요. 그 저는 그 첫 세트 얘기를 한 거였었는데.
I was talking about the first set.
차이가 상당히 벌어졌었어요. 근데
you know, in the first set, the resources discrepancy was quite large, but you did overcome it.
바이오닉 대 메카닉에서 바이오닉의 멀티를 좀 더 많이 챙기긴 하거든요.
In terms of Bionic versus Mechanic, Bionic tend to get more like expansions.
메카닉이 좀 더 지상에서 이제
And Mechanic tend to be stronger in ground fights.
때문에 그냥 그런 건 신경 안 쓰고 내 먹을 수 있는 멀티만 챙기자.
So I didn't take too much into consideration, and I was just focusing on how to expand as efficient as possible.
패전에 대한 이야기까지 나눠봤습니다.
That was a TVT matchup.
자, 오늘 이렇게 승자전 2위 진출로 황규석 선수가 16강에 올라가게 됐습니다. 그동안 참 프로토스 분위기를 많이 타는 편이었는데 그래서 저번 시즌처럼
And your
프로토스가
TVP
최대로
matchup has known to be not too good. And was there any improvement in that?
패치를 떠나서 제 스스로가 그냥 토스전을
Well, regardless of patch, I was really, I was really bad at TVP, and I practiced a lot.
사실 토스전을 제일 많이 준비하고 왔거든요.
But coming in today, I prepared for TVP the most, and I think it worked out really well.
나아졌다기보다는 덜해진 거죠.
Well, I wouldn't say I improved. I would say that I got a little bit better.
기대를 해보겠는데요. 자, 오랜만에 16강입니다.
And it's around the 16 in a long time. Any last words?
오늘도 오면서
Well,
16강을 목표로
coming
하기에는
today,
그냥 너무 의미가 너무 많이 떨어지는 것 같아서.
I came here
박수 칠 때
with the determination to move into round of 16, no matter what.
받고 싶은 거예요.
네.
꼭 이번 시즌은 우승을
And this
목표로
season,
가겠습니다.
my goal is to win the whole thing.
깜짝 놀랐습니다. 다시 한번 16강 진출
Once again,
축하드립니다.
congratulations on your advancement. Thank you.
네, 이렇게
Sweet.
1위 진출자
He
황규석
moves
선수
on. I'm
만나봤는데요.
gonna have my eye on
계속해서
him. I think
32강
we all will.
이벤트 안내를
Yeah.
드립니다.
As he goes on.
I think he's going to get picked up first in the round of 16, but
I think
I
so.
think he's
Yeah.
more dangerous than that. So
Yeah, I can't think of someone else who'd be picked over him. A lot of these players still underestimate him. I know I did as a caster coming into this. By the way, if you're in the audience, please hang on to your tickets. We have a giveaway at the end of the show. We're giving away a photo book,
you can
scarf. So a scarf is the one I always forget, and some other stuff. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, our losers match. Do not go away.
결승전 대결을 시작하겠습니다. 진짜 우회우선 최초의 우승자가 나왔습니다. 그 이름은 다크 방영우.
Please welcome of the World Championship Series, former Liquidation champion.
2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 3 Code S Reversal.
Welcome back. Up next, it's Classic versus Innovation. What?
Yeah. Losers match. One of them goes home now, and one of them goes home in the final match when Creator bashes them.
Yeah, that's
This
right.
is the new world order.
These two guys are just waiting. These two guys are sacrificial lambs for Creator.
The time of Classic and of Innovation and of Dark and all. That time's over.
It's done.
Now it's Ragnarok. It's Creator.
Yeah.
It's Keen.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the players now.
Well, it's time for these two completely average GSL champions to eliminate each other.
That's right.
In this frenzy. Let the weak kill each other off, said the players in the round of 16. Let them fight him over the scraps. These two hyenas just fighting for a chance to play against Creator. Still can't believe this is what we're doing. Okay.
Makers Classic.
I thought Classic, the start of today, was going to like win 2 games and then jump into one of those Mario tubes where it's going up and go and just go to the round of 16.
He level jumps.
Yeah,
into
he
the
uses
round
the
of 8.
whistle and flies to the finals.
Reciprocity. Innovation.
But no. Here they are in the pits. Mud wrestling just to get a chance to fight Creator.
Yeah. A weird world. But you know what? I'm happy to eliminate one of these guys now. What I really want is to just clear the road for Maru. I want him to win another 4 in a row. I want StarCraft 2 to become boring, and we can trace it to Serral and Maru winning everything.
That's right.
You know, where
Things
it's like
really went
they
down
lose
there.
one tournament, and you're like, oh, but then they win all their next ones, and you're like, oh, okay, we're back to normal. That's good.
Well, do you have any predictions for this one? Because I'm not sure what to think. I actually think, no, you know what? Let me go out on a limb here. I think maybe Innovation takes this.
Okay.
Maybe Classic is a little bit demoralized. He's going to the Army.
I think Classic's normal PvT level is above Innovation's normal TVP level.
Okay.
Yeah, that being said, I actually, when you first asked the question to me, but then interrupted me to give your own answer.
That's how I cast.
So really,
now.
it's just like it's like you're on a date and they ask you a question that they want to
This
answer.
is what I call rhetorical casting.
Yeah, yeah. The first thing that popped in my mind though was Innovation.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure why, but it did. It was like, oh, there it is. Look at that. Why is my brain thinking it might be Innovation win?
Well, I think there's a good reason to think it might be.
Yeah.
He's in good shape. I think he played better games in the ones that we saw him lose even than I think Classic did. I think Classic had some more questionable moments back there. I think Innovation was holding his own and exhibiting why he's a great player. But Keen, just dominant today. Only thing with Keen as well is he does seem like his aggression is, it can get a little bit overboard. When it works, it really works. But if it doesn't work, that's exactly why he lost.
Well, his multitasking is real good. The thing is, you can have Terran players that are really good with that type of style, because sometimes they just get so fast and so good that it really is hard to stop. But Keen is not one-dimensional in that way. He has other more macro-esque moves and stuff. So I don't want to pigeonhole him there, but he definitely was pulling that off against Creator, right? He was playing that many drops type of style. Anyways, it's Stargate. It's just pretty standard Terran stuff. Get all your buildings, build some units, try to stay alive, don't lose all your SCVs.
Okay, another shade up here. Innovation going to try to come out here and push away anything. And we have that Oracle not far out. And we'll just have to see if that Oracle does anything, Artosis.
Can you imagine? Like, see, what we're watching here is very standard and normal, right? He's shading up, and the Marines walk out, and the Marines walk back. Imagine you never watched StarCraft before you watch this. You're like, so wait a minute, are the little guys with guns afraid of the ghost?
Can they see the ghost? Yeah. Are they afraid of it? Not exactly. They're trying to actually...
What are those?
In fact, the ghost is afraid of the guys with guns.
Now, it's a ghost. Why do those hydraulic buildings keep going up when the ghost is coming towards him?
Oh, because the ghost can't move through buildings, just like a ghost.
But it can move through people?
Oh, yeah, just like a ghost can normally move through people, yeah.
But it can't move through walls?
No. It's not that kind of ghost. It's not your traditional Ghostbusters ghost.
It's really weird.
The kind of ghost that moves through buildings goes like this. It goes, ooh.
Oh, gotcha.
I need you to find my bones. Let me push a penny up a wall to see. What is that movie called? Is it actually a movie called Ghost?
There's definitely a movie called Ghost. Yes.
With the make-out scene where they're making a clay pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's called Ghost, yes.
Yeah, all right.
It's a great movie.
Oh, yeah. Let's go watch that after the cast. Okay. Is he going to try to pounce in?
Yes, 3 Oracles.
Yes,
so
he
actually,
is.
he might.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, my God.
Now, can he get the Marines fast enough with the Oracles? Looks like the Adepts are going to tank a lot of the damage. And from here, there is nothing to fight. Actually, excuse me. There's Marines under the Raven. Yeah, okay. So he still wins that.
My God. He killed the entire army.
Yeah.
And he's getting SCVs at the end. How much energy do these things have? This is what it looks like if Oracles aren't energy-based.
Okay. He's okay.
Wow. That looked really weird. We got a little guy trying to get away.
Well, that was a very cool attack there by Classic. Definitely well thought out. It did knock out all of the infantry. Now, there's other anti-air here, so there's Vikings and Cyclones, but pretty big blow.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing about Adepts is they're kind of like the Zerglings for Protoss. You know, they're not as expendable, but you're kind of okay losing them in fights as long as you're killing off some of their stuff.
Do you know what they actually are? They're Protoss roaches. They don't really
That's
scale
that
well, but they're kind of good in the early game, right? I guess their harassment qualities are a little bit like Zerglings, though. I guess you're right about that.
Okay, he needs to either sink these or one of these medevacs is always going to be able to heal. Nicely done. 7 more kills, suffering almost no losses. Gateway's coming down here, and the third base is coming down as well.
Yeah, Classic is playing very nicely right now. Like,
Well,
Innovation's army's continuing to grow, but Classic was very careful to not get his third Nexus too quickly with this build. He added a bunch of gates, got his Twilight and Forge up. So that, I feel like that makes it so he doesn't die.
Yeah, he might be able to absorb this attack pretty nicely. Let's keep in mind that the Series Classic lost was actually a little while ago. You know, it was at the start of our day today. He's definitely had some time to kind of reset his mind and try to get himself back into the mindset where you can actually come through with a win here. Now, hold on. Here comes Innovation. He did get through the gap. The gap was basically unattended. Flight attendant. Sorry, I don't know how to cast this, guys.
It is mech behind this for Innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about this, no regret, the other day. Like, have you ever seen anyone kill those rocks in the center?
No.
Everyone's just content to just always try to go through the little hole but not be able to make it. No one will kill the rocks.
You just watch the two armies mad dog each other between there.
It's the weirdest thing. Just kill the rocks, somebody. Open that up.
Storm. What happened to me? What happened to me in this cast? Suddenly I can't find any of the right words. I'm
no,
saying
actually,
words.
I think you became more present. This is how you always are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're finally realizing.
Oh, hold on. Oracle comes in, snipes one SCV. Enough turrets and Vikings. There's no way you want to stay there for too much longer.
Yeah, he has like no energy anyways, considering he is in energy debt after how much the Oracles did in the natural. He's borrowing on their future energy.
Oracles are in sleep debt now.
Quite a few High Templars are out. His army is like, you're not going to be able to break him as of right now. But it is mech, right? This is not bio. Against bio, this force would be super, super good, but against mech, like, he doesn't... I mean, it's not that it's bad, right? But if you turtle up correctly with mech, I don't think that this really does anything, right? This is the type of army that kills mech on the move, not mech entrenched.
I agree. Appears, though, he's going to try to come forward anyways here, especially with some of the wall-offs here. It's hard to capitalize on the Zealots that you have. Classic presses on. Now, what about the natural? Is that totally safe? Yeah, I guess that is actually fine. You get hit with too many tanks from there.
Yeah, if you're running by, it's kind of crazy. Oh my god. Is he actually... Well, that's good storms. Oh, wow.
I'm not sure what to think right now.
It doesn't seem right. Like, maybe he breaks him. But if he does, it still doesn't seem right.
I can't believe he attacked into that, but here we are, and that actually is a situation where the Terran's going to lose the third. All right, guys.
Well, I guess he was just
Get your best Protoss memes out now, okay? Now's your moment.
Yeah.
Kids are
You're
tripping
sending
over
your charge
themselves.
lots into a depot wall with 6 siege tanks behind it, and it breaks.
The problem with depots against Zealots is that the Zealots do have a melee attack that can help destroy them, and then ultimately kill everything behind that. So this was... Okay. Wow. I guess a lot of this was also those storms behind the depots as well.
Oh yeah, no, right? That's what softened up everything and allowed him to eliminate the tanks.
I'm just kind of shocked. I guess most of us could agree that normally you'd look at this with RTS knowledge and think, oh, that probably shouldn't be able to get through there, but
yeah,
I mean, even with the barracks as part of the wall as well.
Well, speaking as how the two armies scale, it's really good that he knew that, right? Because over time, Innovation's army is going to get stronger and stronger in comparison to what Classic's making. So that was a very good kill timing right there.
So we were talking about ghosts earlier.
Yeah.
You know, kind of going on the theme of scary movies. If this was a horror movie, that would have been the opening scene, is Innovation thinking that he's totally fine with a wall-in against a large chunk of melee units. And
we could have called that movie The Depots Have Eyes.
The Depot. And then, that's right. Right as it GG's, that's the opening. Just seeing the title of the movie comes up on screen. Okay, Turbo Cruise 84. Let's go. Did you see that movie? The Hills Have Eyes.
I think I probably did a long time ago.
It's old.
I can't even remember.
I saw that before I ever even moved to Korea.
Yeah, it's super old.
It's super old. Yeah. It's really messed up, scary movie, actually.
I can't remember. I don't watch a lot of scary movies, though, to be honest.
I actually enjoy watching scary movies.
Reciprocity. Innovation.
Most any others.
I don't like to, and do you know why?
Why?
Because I don't like to be scared, because I'm not dumb. Like, why would I want to be scared?
No, I like scary movies because they're dumb. That's why I enjoy watching them. It's mostly formulaic. I mean, there's a couple really good classic scary movies.
Like what?
Scream was a good movie.
Oh, Scream? The original Scream?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah, that was okay.
But I like...
well, what about, like, Scream 6? Was that one good?
Is there a Scream 6?
Oh, I don't know, but probably.
There's like a Saw 9. I haven't caught up on those. But no, I enjoy watching them because I can kind of, like, talk to friends through them and make jokes and, I don't know, just kind of get into it and have fun.
Do you do that so you don't get scared?
Yeah.
Because talking during the movie is the best way to not get scared.
That's true.
When I'm in a movie theater seeing a scary movie and I hear people like, ha ha ha, and like talk to their friend, I'm like, yeah, you're afraid just like me, be quiet.
Don't go in there. In this case, it's like, don't go by that proxy pilot. Uh-oh, here's a scary movie.
Don't make your command center.
Don't make your command center there, but don't get over to the right. Ooh, classic. Well, he is the killer.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What was another good scary movie like that? There's actually not that many.
I really don't
Texas
watch
Chainsaw Massacre was pretty good.
What about the old classics like Friday the 13th and
That's great.
Jason?
Exorcist.
Yeah,
That was good. Oh, look at this. All right, I'm going to turn around my chair. Let's take a look at Innovation's face, Artosis. You want to watch this with me?
It's gonna be like, wow, that stalker got there real quick from a funny angle.
Yeah.
He's looking for the proxy, too.
Yeah. All right, there we go. He suddenly sees it. Ah, it's Innovation. His face doesn't change at all when it happens.
You just think about all the free time he's going to have.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be able to kill the SCV making the command center, and he can kill the SCV that just made the bunker. So I think he's going to be able to successfully slow down the progress of this base by quite a bit, and even raise hell over here at the natural. I mean, here comes that adept now.
It's pretty absurd damage that's going on right now. You can't get anything in the finished bunker. At first I was like, target the guy in the bunker, but no, he did this perfectly. Oh, Stargate 2, he's not done.
What? Oh, what? It popped it over?
What? He rocket jumped! That's so crazy. I've never seen that, I don't think. Right? No, I haven't seen that.
Well, talk
the
about
grenade popped that adept over the wall. Bjorn would be proud.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Bjorn would be proud because I guess it actually caused more damage.
Can't believe this. So the adept is going to be picked off. Those SCVs are getting a good surround here. But I mean, the number of SCVs that have been killed here, especially for how early on this is happening.
Yeah. And he just has to go in when the lock-on is on cooldown with the Oracle, right?
Right.
Oh, it's actually Phoenix's, never mind.
Oh.
Well, that's a good way to cancel the lock-on.
Yeah, he just picks up the Cyclone and continues to do damage.
Man. Classic, just thwomping Innovation.
Thwomping.
Yeah.
I would call this getting dumpstered personally. This is...
Yeah, it's a little bit of that,
This
too.
is some... little bit of dumpstering.
It's when you're trying to jump in the dumpster, but you fall on the edge of the dumpster.
Yeah. This is like a stuntman trying to jump from a tall building into a dumpster as a stunt, but the dumpster is full of rocks and not the padding.
Oh, no. Are they foam rocks?
No.
Oh, no.
They're rocks.
Oh, no.
Okay, here we go. Phoenix. I'm sorry, where'd the Phoenix go? Oh, he's pulling them. Okay.
Yeah. He's going to get the death blow. Like, Innovation's eventually going to just out of this game. He's trying to get the Cyclone upgrade, hoping that maybe he can get really, really efficient with this. Yeah, it's not working. He actually has the opportunity now to jump on top of these and get them. He should just do it. He really should. Just go.
Oh, look at this. Oh, I have Cyclones, I have confidence.
All right,
oh my God!
This might be GG right here. Yeah.
Oh, there it is, GG.
Wow. Innovation. Just getting destroyed today, unfortunately. Many people's favorite Terran out of the GSL early. He won't be able to make it to BlizzCon. I'm 99% sure.
I think you're right.
Even a win at Super Turn, I don't know if that'll do it for him.
He was at 15th in WCS rankings, I thought.
Yeah, so that should not work. Everyone ahead of him would have to.
He would have had to have at least some impact on this tournament, as in getting points.
So that's rough. Not the best year for Innovation. He was looking pretty strong last season, but today, nothing worked out.
Classic versus Creator. Our final match is coming up next. Don't go away. We'll be back soon here at the GSL Code S.
I'm so tired trying to walk the line. Just to measure up, I'm done. We find the common cause. We fight for who we are. We raise the banner high. We just pursue what dies. This is the broken land, crooked and bent wasteland. When will we really see? That's what we need.
with the dust, make the ceiling spin. Electric flipping on and off, flipping on and off, flipping on and off. Be my guest at the table, at the table. I love it when you again and again and again, again and again, again and again and again. I love it when you again and again and again, again and again. Automatically fantastic, gotta have it, love it, love it. Love it, love it. Work it hard, sweat it out, dance it to the beat. Cut it up in a ribbon now, string it to the screen. Be my guest at the table, at the table, at the table. Read my lips, you know what I want, you know what I want. I love it when you again and again and again, again and again, again and again and again. I love it when you again and again and again, again and again. Automatically fantastic, gotta have it, love it, love it. La 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 la. I love it when you.
'을 던질까에 대해서 머릿속으로 진짜 고민이 많아질 수밖에 없는 상황이
시즌 3연승 우승 골든 트로피 주인공이 됩니다. 연전 연승 달리고 있는 매치에서는 지지 않는 포스를 뽐내고 있는데 이경기도 진짜 이걸 잡아요. GSL
에브리바디 째째 이미 서론 들릴 수는 있겠죠. 바라봐야 돼. 태양 걔 어떻게든 살아나라. 포기하지 말자.
Mountain Dew GSL Season 3 Code S Reversal.
We're back, and it's time to have the rematch. Today started out with Classic versus Creator, and Creator opened up a can of whoop-ass, destroying Classic and completely changing the dynamic of this group. Then Keen went on to beat Innovation. That was when it got really crazy. Now Creator has lost to Keen. He's back, Classic, after smashing Innovation in a really short series. We're going to see if Classic can then redeem himself here in the rematch, or if, in fact, Creator has completely brought in a totally new Creator than what we're used to seeing in the past 8 years.
Yeah. You know, if this was MLG, Creator would be already... He would have already won, right? Because of extended series, but it's not, right? It's GSL.
Yeah. In this tournament, we know who's going to win as it goes on. So let's see what happens. Classic, he looked really strong in that last series. Can he bring it again? And what does Creator have in the rematch? Let's go.
Fight.
Makers Classic. Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
Okay, generic Green Wings, Creator. So, here we are, Tasteless. Who do you actually think wins this?
You know what? I've been hyping Creator so much, but I'm going to go back and say that I think it's going to be Classic.
Well, you thought Innovation was going to beat Classic, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. How'd that work out? You also thought that Classic would beat Creator the first match.
I did.
And that Innovation would beat Keen.
Yeah.
Have you gotten anything right? So
Well,
who did you call in Keen versus Creator? You called Creator, I bet. I think you did.
No,
actually.
I did. I called Keen. I called Keen on that one.
Bull.
I did. I
Bull.
did. I called him.
You did it.
Now, well, you got to think of in this one.
I'm changing reality. You called Creator. That's 4 wrong guesses.
What you don't know about me is that I'm a time-traveling caster, and I was in the wrong timeline here, so I was trying to cast to the future.
You probably messed up and made it the wrong timeline.
I could have, yeah. You might be right.
The other timeline that you came
Because I stepped
from,
on a butterfly
Maru
somewhere.
won five GSLs in a row.
You imagine the butterfly effect here. It's like I stepped on a butterfly in the past, and then Creator wins. It's like, no, I don't even think that could ever work out the way that you think it would. But no, I think Classic can come back. We'll see. I think Creator just played also a fairly exhausting series there as well. Where Classic just bashed his way through.
What about the fact that he has a probe not mining gas?
Oh my God. There's a probe that has...
You want to change your prediction here?
What, because one of his probes has narcolepsy? Huh? What is Classic doing? Is that Stargate hidden out there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Just in his natural.
Yeah, that's actually pretty bad that he has one.
Do you see that?
Probe. I like the shine.
He's going to be like, why can't I afford anything in my build order that I've done 1,000,000 times?
Yeah.
Okay, he finally figured it out after so long.
Now, it's going to be 2 Adepts coming out here for Classic. Stalker here for Creator, because we both have a Stargate tech. Stargate's going to finish a little bit more quickly here for Classic.
Let's see what Classic can get done with these Adepts. Doubt that he will be able to get any damages of now. Classic is going for Phoenixes. So, definitely different from before. He went Oracle previously, remember? I like that finishing, by the way. I think people don't let their pylon finish enough.
Well,
it's just
it can be uncomfortable. It'll mess with, any OCD feelings you have about your build order, but in reality, it actually buys you a lot of time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, he sees the timing of that, but I don't believe that he saw the... Yeah, he didn't see the Stargate. So he's making Oracles. Maybe this is just a reversal, as the season says, of the first series.
Yeah, we've got the first Oracle is going to be banked here, actually, for Creator.
He's doing the good old 2 Oracle.
Yeah, I like this.
Now, if it just randomly goes in the opposite direction of where the Phoenixes are, right? Because the Phoenixes, I mean, sometimes you'll spread them out, but a lot of times you keep them kind of clumped up. But that could be tons of damage.
Absolutely. Especially if no batteries in the main or anything to protect that.
Or if you line up your shots perfectly, which we sometimes see people mess up. But
which we don't always see, but in an ideal situation here.
It's funny when you don't, because it's like, well, if you're going to do the strat, you should really nail
We've
that.
had it a couple times where it's actually not synced up, but it defeats the whole purpose.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is actually total disaster here for Creator. He loses 1 Oracle. We know exactly where the other Oracle is going to be now.
Yeah.
And so the Phoenixes can actually pursue even further here. The Oracle having no shields at all. The Stalkers all the way outside of the main here.
Creator getting a taste of his own medicine.
Oh, I don't know about these Adepts attacking the Nexus, but this is a lot of potential kills over here.
Yeah, shades it up there. Okay, gonna take out the other Oracle. These Phoenixes doing some work. Oh my God, he's not gonna take out the other Oracle. That was ludicrous.
Can't believe this.
That is so funny. That shield battery was such a hero.
That specific interaction that often.
I don't remember ever seeing something live through that like that. That was crazy.
The counterattack here is going to kill about 2 probes. Meanwhile, I mean, Classic still is dominating over in Creator side of the base. Creator now making Blink to try to cope with the threat of air.
Does have that quicker Nexus though, right? So
he does, but
there's
losing
some
a few
redeeming
probes
things going on at least.
can hurt.
Yeah. It's just such the opposite of the first game.
Yeah. So that proxy pylon has been cleaned out. This would be a great moment to snipe this sentry here. An easy kill.
Too bad that here shield battery wasn't up there now.
Yeah, save him as well. And I gotta say, I think Classic's doing a great job with this. He didn't over-make Phoenixes or anything like that. And now we're gonna get the Forge done, telegraphing that Classic wants to bring this into a longer game.
Yeah.
Wants to get upgrades and have a stronger army in the latter part.
No one's about to die.
And also, I like the Creator goes for that Nexus right there.
Absolutely.
Because you know you got a Forge making. There's Phoenixes out. A Nexus is something that's much harder to punish with those tools that you have.
I think it's a great play, right? Get the Forge, get charge immediately when your blink is done as well. Oh, this is so painful though.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to get ahead because you are you're forced into this situation when you've gone Oracle against Phoenix. It almost always turns into a gateway-based army against an Immortal-based army, right? And so you really want to protect your economy so that you can overwhelm. Look at how many Stalkers he made. You can tell SOS is on his team. This is like one of those funny moves that you sometimes see where it's like, oh yeah, no, I just made 30 Stalkers and tried to kill him, you know? Look at how many Stalkers he has.
Yeah, he has not slowed down with that. It's kind of crazy. Now, Classic's going for a much more traditional approach now, just getting Immortals out, getting the rest of his tech. Now, the Phoenixes can come back in and do some damage, but how much is actually there to defend on Classic's side of the map? I mean, Artos has already highlighted how many Stalkers are there. This is a kind of a surprising number here.
Yeah.
But, you know, with one Immortal, maybe he'll be okay. He's going to try to target that Immortal. It backs away. He does get the Sentry. Now, there's no War Prism that was made, correct? I didn't see one on the production tab. So, the problem there is that if the Immortal's in a good enough spot where it can just retreat a little bit, the extra Immortal shots that come off are going to really hurt.
I'm actually surprised the way that he handled that. I felt like that was a blink forward, not blink away moment. Trade in, get the Immortal. That's actually an old way that Blink Stalker would fight against Immortal builds, is you just very aggressively trade for Immortals. And sure, maybe they kill more Stalkers than the value of that Immortal, but Immortals increment out, and Stalkers get made much more quickly. So it's, and when you have Blink and they don't, that actually makes a big difference. So
yeah, especially after you kill that first Immortal, because then you can usually just try to retreat with the rest of the weaker Stalkers and get a good fight. Right? Immortals, even though they counter Stalkers, they're only as good as the other units that they are with, whether that's units that block the path of the opposing forces that are trying to kill the Immortal, or for instance your own Warp Prism to pick that up. A lone Immortal, especially against Stalker Blink, I mean, that's revenge of the Stalkers.
Yeah, I feel like he did miss an opportunity there. I think that would have been a very brave and cool move from him, but now he's sitting here on a lot of Stalkers, right? His economy is not really better than Classic's. He's like making a couple shield batteries. I mean, when Classic attacks you, I don't know if a couple shield batteries are going to change the fact that he has 3-4 more Immortals than you do.
And sometimes that's the biggest thing you want to watch for in PvP.
Yeah,
it
generally is.
It's just like, how many Immortals are there? Where are they?
Yeah.
And if they're there and they're fighting, are there ones that are wiggling around in the back that are not doing damage?
I'm kind of surprised he picked up 2 Immortals for harassment.
Well, he probably feels pretty safe. And the problem is that if he loses those 2, then it's...
Yeah, if he loses those, then
like,
suddenly Creator, he has real potential to take it, right? I mean... Oh yeah, those feedbacks are doing lots of damage.
Woo!
Half damage feedback on Phoenixes that don't even have enough energy for a lift.
That's what I call StarCraft.
Yeah. Like, what is this, Warcraft 3? Come on now. Now, where is this Immortal drop? Because I think he's got to be so careful with this. You catch him right now with Blink Stalkers?
Well, I think he might be able to get away. And in fact, but Artos, what if he Blink Stalkers over here into the main, or just loses them? And okay, that was the worst.
He tried to get a hallucination. He tried to fly a hallucination over that army so he could blink into the main base.
Luck. What? Never mind. Old joke. Remember Hydra Huck? He tried to say the hallucination, he called them Hallux or whatever. People try to abbreviate stuff so fast. As I said it, I kind of like stopped myself. I'm like, this one's not that good.
No.
Sorry.
You said like Allah Huck. I'm like, do you speak a language I don't speak?
Only one word of it. Okay, so we have a lot of Immortals here. The Archons, the Warp Prisms, they're all in a good spot, but this is an awkward angle, and there are shield batteries here. Supply is superior, but positioning can actually balance that out.
It's hard to imagine that this is gonna be held easily. Okay, let's see. He's got his Immortals getting some good hits. Obviously, the shield battery's helping out. He has his Immortals sitting in the back, but 4 Immortals attacking.
Yeah, some more Zealots down there at the bottom. We need to have some more Warpins here.
Well, I don't know what that blink forward was, but...
Oh, hold on. Is he going to be able to break through here?
Yeah,
I think he will, yeah. I mean, enough Archons, Immortals, and everything else. Classic bashes through. Total opposite result of what we had in, was it Game 2? Between these two in the first series they had, where Creator won and held off that attack from Classic. Classic completely and totally redeeming himself, meaning he's 1 win away. And Creator, who was kind of the big story starting today off, defeating Classic and then looking great against Keen. He's 1 loss away from being out. And once again, getting shelved back to where he always ends up in GSLs, at least currently.
You know what? He got the bad end of build orders, to be fair, but he overmade Stalkers, which generally means aggression. And then he went up the ramp, and there was no shield battery next to Classic's army. There was only 1 Immortal and only 1 Sentry.
Yeah.
I maintain that I feel like he should have jumped on the Immortal and tried to just continually trade in this game, but...
You know, dude, I think you're right. It did look pretty weird.
It's like what are you overmaking Stalkers for? Are you hoping that he's not going Immortals?
Also, you overmade the Stalkers, you need to use them.
Yes,
you can't get cold feet with that.
No, you can't. They're not going to do anything.
Makers Classic. Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
Still has a shot here. You know, that game went south. Wrong in the build orders. Oracle against Phoenix, they both get caught. It's like,
Yeah, but I think what you were talking about earlier is also, it has to be said in the same breath that he did not do with the Stalkers what I think he could have done.
There's no other reason.
The 1 Immortal. Because he had driven the game in a situation where you need to do something decisive about that. The idea is that you blindside them with the number of Stalkers, and they're maybe not set up correctly. The Immortal count hasn't gotten out to be big enough where you can snowball this by starting to warp in more and more and more after you've killed that first Immortal, but he did back off, so...
You know, what I said that was half joke, but pointing out a reality in the first game was like, yeah, I mean, he has Stalkers, but he has 8. It's not like he has 13 or something, right?
Yeah, then he has 13.
What Creator did was he made those extra Stalkers, so...
Well, I mean, a little bit of misfortune there, but also a little bit of misplay, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Again,
generally losses are a mixture of both.
Very true. So we had monkeys throw darts at the mini-map to decide where the proxy pylons would be put, and there they are.
Yeah, it's
blindfolded
not nice
monkeys.
to call Protoss players monkeys, but looks like that's just a hidden pylon for Creator.
Okay, that doesn't spot it right. It doesn't graze by it.
Isn't it interesting?
Oh, it does.
That every one of Classic's proxies today have been right outside his base.
Yeah.
That's just where he proxies
at.
Out.
Almost
he's
the same
so far
angle.
down the proxy meta hole that he's going to start building his buildings in his main base. That's going to be the #1 place to hide him.
So he spotted the
pylon, but not the Robo.
Yeah. And I don't know if you necessarily think Robo with where that pylon is.
No, not necessarily.
There's still maybe an element of surprise in here, despite that little bit of intel. Stargate is much more common.
Yeah. I think that position, you'd be very surprised if it was Twilight. Probably Stargate, though. I think you're right. But it's not. So, it's going Stargate himself. You know, I think that these two builds are pretty even against each other overall. Really comes down to execution. The 3-gate Robo, I think probably, in my opinion, the best opener that there is. But you know, there's all these things that can make this difficult, right? You have the opportunity to build Void Rays. You could make Phoenixes. You can obviously go into Robo from there and try to harass while you're defending.
Okay, he is not.
Does Creator actually realize that he saw the pylon?
Well, no, he has to know.
Does he have to know?
I'm
Are you supposed to check what's there or no?
Well, it is weird, right? He's still trying to go up to the front to see what's going on when there's something much more important.
Well,
and he's expanding.
Yeah, that expansion's going to be canceled 100%.
Yeah, okay, so
the question becomes, can he hold on? Yeah, okay, so he's scouted exactly what's going on.
There it is.
Get up that ramp.
Goes for a little bit of a fight, trying to hit the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism backs up, and it goes down!
That was the most hero thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I can't believe he busted that, and he let the battery finish, which means he holds. This was... I got chills right now.
The thing just won't die.
It turns out Shield Battery Oracle is the best thing in the whole game. Holy crap. You thought...
Especially
everyone thought it was Warp Prisms and Immortals.
No.
That's so yesterday. Bunch of puddle drinkers out there, okay? This is the new thing.
It's funny, too.
Oracles and shield batteries.
Against Stalkers, the Stalker shots take so long in between themselves that it's almost ripe for comedy, watching how many times the Oracle almost dies and then doesn't.
Well, what about 4 Phoenixes running out of ammo trying to kill an Oracle, right? We saw that last game.
They used up all their lasers before they were able to get that.
the lasers were gone. We didn't even know lasers could run out.
Yeah. Now, what is going to be the game plan here from Classic? Because there were 2 major consecutive errors. I guess he's going to just try to do an elevator play.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Faked it out. Faked it out.
The fake elevator play.
The elevator's not working today. Now he's got some great force fields up.
Yeah, those are good.
More shield battery shenanigans. He's going to go for the pylon. The angle here actually is absolutely terrible for Creator, and it only gets worse with force fields.
It's getting worse and worse. Now he's got all these shield batteries that aren't really able to do anything.
If only he had more shield batteries down here.
I think that's about it, Tasteless.
Ideally, he would have wanted to fight this in an arc in the way that the shield batteries were set up. Unfortunately, Creator, after having an incredible showing, appears to be getting fleshed out here in the round of 32, despite having one of his best showings in a long time.
A little bit surprising that he did not go into any other tech or any anti-stalker units, because it's not like you can't build a second Warp Prism, but Classic, he comes back and makes the group not quite as upsetty as it was.
Creator is truly our tragic hero of the GSL. Always shows good games. He has ups, he has downs. He clearly loves StarCraft 2 and is very passionate about it. He's still playing and showing up in GSLs, but the truth is, like, again, we've seen this story happen before. And of course, he knows he's lost now. I think he's simply digesting it.
He's waiting to finish Tasteless.
Before he realizes there's no pylon there. Okay. GG. Man, that sucks for Creator. Oh well. Classic 2-0. Classic survives.
Wow. Well, good comeback there from Classic. That was a close and tight group for him, though. I feel bad for Creator. He had a nice close series with Keen. He beat Classic in a previous match. He went 2-2 against Classic, right? And thus he does not move on because he won his games in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Should have won them in the last match instead of the first match. That was the big mistake.
That's rough, man. Poor Creator. But we do have Classic in what will probably be his last GSL Code S, advancing to the round of 16.
Yeah.
I can see him smiling and walking up to be interviewed by Guri. And we're going to go to that interview now. It'll be translated by Andy. And let's see how Classic's feeling after beating and getting his revenge, I should say, on Creator. 2-0ing him after losing 0-2 at the start of today's show.
All right, we have our final winner of Group F, round of 32. It is Classic. Congratulations. Thank you.
자, 이번 시즌은 조금 어렵게 16강에 올라갔습니다.
This season you've kind of struggled, but you did end up going to move round of 16. How do you feel?
이제 신영이랑 하려고 했었는데
In the winners match, I predicted innovation to come up and for me to go up, but you know we both did bad and we ended up meeting each other in the losers bracket. And I was really nervous in that match because I did lose to innovation quite a lot, and I thought that I might get eventually get eliminated. But thankfully, I did prepare for the PVT scenario. So that's why I was able to
아무래도
move
그
on.
패자전 이신영 선수와의 대전을 참 껄끄럽게 생각하셨던 것 같습니다. 그 터보 크루즈 필살기도 그런
Turbo
어떤
Cruise,
위기감 때문에 그런 필살기를 꺼내신
you
거네요.
did go for your special strategy because maybe you felt like you were driven to the corner.
그래서 또 저만의 스타일인 변칙적인
Well, you know, my playstyle is kind of like unorthodox, so I did use my special strategy, and I think it worked out really well.
어색했던 그 김도우 선수의 패자전.
Yes, definitely the losers match was quite awkward since we had innovation and you
자, 다시
in the
만난
losers match.
장현우 선수에게 복수를 하고
But you
올라가게
did end up
됐습니다.
getting the revenge
복수
match
과정이 참
against
재밌었죠.
Creator in the end.
첫 경기를 불사조에 망해서
In the first match, you did lose because of the Phoenix, but in the revenge match, you won because of the Phoenix. How's that?
준비한 빌드가 아닌데
Well, that wasn't a strategy I
선수랑 하다
prepared for, but
너무
playing
제 빌드를 맞춤식으로 잘 준비를
playing against him in the first match, I realized that he has a really good build against me.
평소에 안 하던 걸
So
하자라는
in the final match, I did go for a strategy that I don't normally use, and it worked well.
그 킹스코브에서 그
In
선
King's
불사조
Cove,
빌드. 김도우 선수의 예언자 출발이 확실히
the
푸푸전에서
Phoenix Rush
압도적으로
was really
많았기 때문에
effective
나온 게
in the
아닌가 싶은데
PvP.
그랬었나 봐요.
네, 제가 아무래도 예언자를 좋아하다 보니까
Well, I do prefer Oracle a lot, so I guess the other players did anticipate that I would go for that.
불사조로 했는데 예언자를 발견 못했으면 좀 위험했을 것 같은데.
But going for Phoenix, and if I couldn't find the Oracle, I would probably be in a pinch. But luckily, I did find the Oracle, and that worked out well.
2대0 승리를 거두면서
So you did gain the 2-0 victory in the final match and move on to the round of
GSL로만
16.
보면 뭐 다른 리그는 몰라도
But strictly
GSL로만
looking at
보면
GSL,
이때전 또 마지막 시즌이잖아요.
this is the last season of the year.
네, 아무래도 내년까지 하기에는 좀 무리가 있어서
Yes, it's probably
뭐 슈퍼
not
토너먼트나
feasible for me
GSL
to
더 월드는
play
있겠지만
anymore in next year.
올해가
So this is my last GSL for me before I go to the army.
네.
그래서 더 열심히 준비해서
So
이번에는 꼭
this time I'm going to make
네.
thorough preparation
GSL
to
마지막
get further.
시즌에 만약에 30위가 탈락했다면 정말
It would have been really
아쉬웠을 것
unfortunate
같은데
if you were
다행히 좋은
eliminated
결과
in the round of 32
만들어냈습니다.
of the last
그런
season.
의미에서 팬분들도 참 특별한 의미가 있을
So
것
a lot of
같은데요.
fans will be
마지막으로
cheering you
팬들에게 한마디
right now.
해주시죠.
Any words for the fans?
네, 항상 이렇게 응원해 주셔서 감사하고
Congratulations! Thank you for always supporting me and cheering for me.
우승할 수 있도록 할 테니
And I'll try my
많은
hardest
응원
to win this
부탁드릴게요.
GSL.
네, 알겠습니다. 다시 한번
Once again,
응원하도록
congratulations.
하겠습니다. 16강 진출 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you.
Sweet.
네, 이렇게 F조
Classic
2위
moves on,
16강 진출자
and we got to
김도우
see
선수
Keen actually come out of
만나봤는데요.
this group
F조
first.
경기 결과
Taryn and
확인해보겠습니다.
Protoss advance as expected.
Yeah, and some guy named Innovation was knocked out right away. Yeah, but I don't know if that's gonna, impact the show too much. No, but it's kind of crazy. Yeah, Innovation just got completely obliterated in this group, and Creator again. Sometimes he's the sad story of the GSL. I really. In the back of my mind, I'm always kind of rooting for him.
Yeah.
But we've been casting this
nice
guy
to see him have a
for
great season.
over 8 years, and I was actually thinking today was going to be his day, really. But
after the win against Classic and the close match against Keen, I held out hope.
It does go to show you, just how strong Classic is as well, how he can adapt. So we have Gumiho, Armani, Fantasy, and Deer. That will be on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. KST.
That is an exciting group right there.
It is.
Armani continues to improve, but he's up against a couple badasses and a legend from the past.
That's right.
Who himself continues to improve. Is Fantasy going to be able to have a deep run here?
I think in maybe a year or two, I think we might see Fantasy really killing it here in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, in a year or two.
It took him a while to get that good in StarCraft 1 as well.
If he keeps it up, he'll probably just start winning a bunch of Star Leagues.
I really mean that too. I think he could end up becoming like a Maru or a Cyril or something like that. It takes a while.
Yeah.
And again, people remember him as a StarCraft 1 legend, but people forget how old StarCraft 1 was even back then.
Yeah. At the very end of the StarCraft 1 Pro scene, he was in the finals of the last Star League. Like, he was just so good.
And that's about as old as no, I guess we got a couple more years then before StarCraft 2 is actually close to that old. But yeah, I mean, I say give him a little bit more time, and he might actually be coming out here and really, really killing it. So I've got my eyes on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be a great group. We won't be here for it, but you guys enjoy it without us.
We'll be casting over in China, but it'll be fun to see how they actually perform, and we'll be back as soon as we can be to continue on here with GSL and ASL.
Yeah. So a fun day. Make sure you keep your tickets. Giving away all sorts of great stuff, like a scarf, just in case you get cold.
Or a photo book. Here's what we're going to do. From here on out, I'll do photo book and you do scarf. That way we only have to each remember one item. Can we close it out? Do we do it?
You're asking me? No, we can't.
Well, I was actually asking our producer, but I was talking when she was talking.
You were looking me in the eyes, so I mean that's really weird. I'm like, I hate you.
I was hoping you were going to Morse code blink me the answer.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm just looking in your eyes.
This has been a really fun season, by the way. This has been one where we got to see a lot of old players come back. They did not do as well. We've got a lot of narratives that are starting to close up here at the end of, well, not the end, but, this is the last season here of 2019 in GSL.
Yeah, we have a couple big upsets this season, not as much as last season, but Sue and Innovation won't be in the round of 16.
The last 2 days, insane games, insane results here. Yeah, it's been good.
Yes, I would say so. Lots of fun. Don't forget ASL tomorrow night.
That's right, 7 p.m. KST.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
And we're still trying to squeeze in all of our GSL and ASL days here. It's been kind of crunch time here at the studio. We have to wrap all this stuff up pretty quickly. And now we no longer have to BS. We can actually close it out. Guys, thank you for joining us. We love you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Let's make it count.
I must practice tolerance.
Next, GSL Season 3. Reversal.